I'm Yoshi Lomax, superstar attorney at law and fugitive.
So, you're the famous Yoshi Lomax.
Probably more infamous. I'm on the run from the federal government for crimes that I didn't commit.
Gentlemen, I'm Deputy U.S. Marshal Sharon Starr. I'll be taking things from here.
Not to mention being on the hit list of at least 3 of Miami's major crime bosses.
I wanted to apologize in person for leaving so abruptly last night.
Welcome back.
That's Vladimir Kuznetsov, a Russian crime boss. He's been a suspect in over a dozen missing person cases.
I mean, I didn't get here to be this successful for doing things the American way.
I need a list of the jury for my case with Hanshu.
Oh, really? What's that worth to you? Oh, my God, you're such a good...
Mr. Santana is to be released upon processing.
So what do you know about Sheldon Chisholm?
What do you want to know about him?
I really need to know if you're going to take my case. I don't have time to play, Miss Lomax.
Money is not a problem. You know anything about his case?
It's being handled by agents in my field office.
I've learned that in this game of life, in order to win,
Ready to dance?
you gotta play dirty. You might look at me and see a beautiful, confident, successful woman.
Congratulations, counselor. Yet another win.
But underneath, I'm flawed. I'm broken. And I'm scared. So I have no choice but to run until I can find a way to clear my name.
Miss Lomax is now considered a fugitive of the United States. Catching fugitives is my business, which makes her my suspect. You and your associates are relieved.
Look, she killed one of our own.
But I will not give up.
All right, people, listen up. Get a picture of Miss Lomax out there so the public knows what she looks like.
I will not give in.
Okay. People, we got a game plan. Let's break and execute.
I will not get caught.
Time to go hunt.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with DaDirector on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with DaDirector on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with DaDirector on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with DaDirector on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Capri, and you are watching Real Talk with DaDirector on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with DaDirector on Dollhouse Radio.
This is Vicky Judy. Orange is the new black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with DaDirector on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Frida Parks. You are listening to Real Talk Radio with DaDirector. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with DaDirector on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And nothing less. What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Real Talk with the Director and the Jedi Council. I'm the Director. Be with you for the next 120 minutes or so. Real Talk is brought to you every Monday by B2S Media. We broadcast live via the World Wide Web on youtube.com/IE Network TV. And, of course, facebook.com, which is, Real Talk Radio. Yeah, Real Talk Radio. And, of course, we broadcast via Twitter, via Periscope. And now, being broadcast as a podcast on via Anchor, but you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on, I believe, Apple Podcasts. You're going to start hearing from us all over the place, right? So that's what's up. Welcome back, everyone. We bid you greeting and salutations, right? And we enjoy you and coming and hanging out with us. This week, we're going to talk we've been talking the last couple of weeks about, we've been on this Expendables kick, right? You got the Expendables, of course, which is the show that was, from Sylvester Stallone that, has all of the action heroes in it, past, present. There's a couple of presents, mostly of past. The formula is usually like you had Stallone, and Jason Statham. Those are like the two main guys, and then you had a bunch of other people, just unprecedented. At this point, if you haven't seen any of the Expendable franchise, you should go out and watch it. It's just good popcorn and soda. That's what it is. It's just a bunch of ass kicking and shooting and killing and all testosterone, a big 2 hours of testosterone going on. So, I mean, if you love those type of things, if you loved action heroes, these are all classic, and these movies have classic action hero actors in these films. That was the point of doing it, right? So you had Stallone, Schwarzenegger made a cameo in it, Bruce Willis. I mean, everybody. He's pretty much had, between the three films, he's pretty much had almost everybody except Steven Seagal, because Steven Seagal is just kind of a jerk to work with anyway. So he's really like the only person I can think of that was like in a big, still alive. That was in a big action franchise or big action star, and did not make it into the Expendables. Not for lack of trying. He did try to reach out to, they tried to work it out, I believe. I'm sure he reached out to him, because Sly reached out to everybody. And, you either want to be a part of that or you don't. So, but it's just like, We Are the World. When people come in, it was like, check your ego at the door. You know what I mean? The people who didn't participate in We Are the World, there was a couple of people that didn't participate, including Prince. I was very upset and disappointed that Prince did not participate in We Are the World. And he has expressed, he's never, Prince is he was never a regretful person. But you could tell by some of his, interviews that he expressed, that he probably should have went there. He did contribute to the album. He contributed a song, pretty nice song too, called "Tears in Your Eyes." Very nice song that he contributed to the album for We Are the World. What was that called? USA for Africa or something like that. So, but he did not participate in that night. So that was, so the whole point of bringing that up is check your ego at the door, right? They were like, listen, man, you guys got to, we cannot be worried about egos. And so if Sylvester Stallone, who was one of the biggest action heroes, humble himself to invite all these people to be in his film when he could have very well just made a film on his own. Why? Because he's Sly Stallone and he could still do that if he wants to. But he humbled himself and he invited people to be part of his franchise, the Expendables. And it was a very successful, lucrative franchise. Very successful, lucrative franchise. So what we did spinning off of that, we've been talking about last week. We were casting what we were calling, or what they are calling, the Expendables, which is the female version that's been in the works for quite a while now. And shout out to Joseph Tanner, who came through. Of course, he holds down in the chat room. So Expendables is female version of the Expendables. We cast that. We cast who we thought should be in that. Of course, Charlize Theron, Angelina Jolie, and Halle Berry should be like the three locks. And of course, Sigourney Weaver, people like that. Then we also did the Expendables Horror Edition, where we had our guest Monique Dupree on, and she was very cool guest, man, just chiming in on her opinions. And that's what we were saying. So that was cool. So now this week we're doing the Expendables Black Edition, who I affectionately refer to as the ExpendaBROS. So, yes, I know it's not politically correct and all of that stuff, but you know what? I don't give a damn. This is my show, and I'm calling it the ExpendaBROS. So, just get over it. I'm being politically incorrect, or whatever you want to call it. It's the ExpendaBROS. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring, I'm going to put my cast up there, people that I think just have to be in this film, because we have quite a bit through the years. Not, nowhere near as many, white actors, but we've had quite a bit of black super, or, action, not superhero, but action hero actors that would make this movie very, very cool movie. Right? And we'll go over that. Also, I talked about this briefly with my brother. We did the breakdown yesterday real quick. We'll elaborate on this a little more. The Salt and Pepper biopic that's been on Lifetime. Lifetime, I said from day one, when everyone's, I want to see this movie, I'm like, I don't trust Lifetime with biopics. I never did, and I never will. So Lifetime, they distributed this biopic that was produced by Queen Latifah, actually, and it was also executive produced by Salt and Pepper, Cheryl James and Sandy Denton, I think her last name is. But here's the deal. Like I said, me and my brother, we spoke on it briefly. You got Salt and Pepper biopic. Due to the fact that they had, I guess, disagreements outside, recent disagreements in a recent split, or they fired Spinderella, her character was written out of the movie, which I said yesterday in our breakdown, and I'll say it again. That is ludicrous. That is ludicrous. I'm sorry. You cannot do a movie about Salt and Pepper and not have, Salt and Pepper, the rap group, and not have Spinderella, who was their DJ, but she was a big part of the group. She didn't do a lot of rapping and stuff like that. She only, later in the year, she did a little bit of rapping, and but we mentioned this before again. One of their biggest hits, if not their biggest, because you had Shoop is one of their biggest hits, especially later in the game. But What a Man, featuring En Vogue, was one of their biggest hits, especially commercially. So that verse on What a Man by Spinderella is arguably the best verse on the song. People will argue that. People will argue that Spinderella had the best verse in that song. Everybody got their favorites, you know. Everyone had their favorites with Salt and Pepper. You had, you know, but Spinderella was a part of the group. She, you know, visually, and another argument. No, my brother mentioned it yesterday. She's arguably, or was, or is, arguably the best looking one in the group. That's arguable. It's arguable. Some people will disagree with me. Some people will, you know, argue that with me, but it's arguable. That's the point. Yes, they were established before her. The group was established before she joined the group. And they did have another person for their first album that was Spinderella. I get it. However, I don't care what type of differences you're going through. You can't write her out the movie. Even if you made her, you know, do you have to make her role super significant and crazy? Maybe not, especially if you don't have much, you know, but from what she's saying in, you know, in interviews, and she tweeted out, she was left out of the creative process and the production. So, and, you know, I'm going to bring Ralph on and we'll talk about that. But I definitely want to hear what you guys think about that. Chime in, leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you can you know when you get these when we do shows and you get those notifications. We have new shows coming on the IE network. We just started our sports show a couple weeks ago. We're 2 weeks in now. The Bench Warmers with your hosts, Jimmy Ace and Heaven Hollywood. Produced by myself. You know, I'll pop in and out of there. I usually produce them and I'll pop in and out. We also have a new show coming called Mount Rushmore. Me and my brother, you know, we do the breakdown. We do a show called, we're going to be doing a quick little show. It's going to be a short show called Mount Rushmore. We're going to be counting off, or not counting down, but pretty much displaying our Mount Rushmore of topics, right? You know, we always do top 10, top 5, but Mount Rushmore is tough because you only got 4 individuals you only got 4 spots to fill. And you're gonna say, who's on Mount Rushmore? So the first week, you know, we're gonna be doing that. Probably this week it's gonna drop, and you'll see you know, some of those shows. We got some new stuff coming on too. But anyway, we are grateful that you're there. We are grateful that we're here. And you are tuned in to Real Talk with the director and the Jedi Council. I am the director. Brought my Jedi Council with me, or at least one half of them. You don't believe me? Well, here he is. Ralph, what's good? You in the building?
What's going on, everybody? Hello. How's everybody doing on this Monday? Cold out there. I hope you got your long johns on. It's going to be cold.
Well, it's cold where you're at. For me,
shut the hell up.
It's like 67 degrees outside where I'm at.
I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing from you, man. All toasty down there in Florida where we freezing.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to New York, man. New York and New Jersey. I know y'all getting that little cold front or whatever that came through.
Yeah,
and it came through with a vengeance, huh? I heard it came through deboing people, smacking them up. What you got on my 40, homie? What you got on my 30 degrees, homie?
You got on my drink, Holmes.
So, heard up. What you got on my 40, homie? Rest in peace to Tiny Lister as well. Yeah, man. So I talked about this. We touched on this briefly, me and my brother yesterday. We touched on it briefly with you know, this whole thing. The Salt and Pepper movie, like I said before at the top of the show, I never trusted Lifetime. Someone asked me, "You gonna watch the Salt and Pepper movie?" I was like, "No," and they're like, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't trust Lifetime." And they're like, "What do you mean?"
They're 0 for 3 in my book. Whitney Houston, bad. Aaliyah, bad. Tony Braxton, bad. Sorry.
Aaliyah was not just bad, bro. It was putrid. It was. I can't even think of every synonym to the word bad. It was. You know
it's a shame. It's a shame that I talk crap about that Aaliyah movie because my nephew, Damar, he actually produced the music for that movie. He was nominated for a Grammy for it, which great. I was like, oh wow, that's incredible. But however, there is a difference between the music and the movie.
Yeah, it's different between
the movie is garbage.
Number one, Lifetime is too. They're so easy to greenlight films that may not even have, full support of like the estate and stuff like that. So for that movie especially, they did that movie and they did not have the support of Aaliyah's estate. So guess what? Don't do the movie.
No.
They had no access to any of the songs. They had no access to any of her songs. Only songs that she did that weren't, owned by the estate. And that's like songs like At Your Best, that's a remake. So she don't own the rights to that. That's a remake of what do you call it? Damn, why can't I think of their name? Mr. Big and all of them.
Isley Brothers.
Isley Brothers.
It's a shame. It's saying that now you talk about Isley, you say Mr. Big. Ron Isley is just Mr. Big.
Ron Isley, Mr. Big. I couldn't think. If I'd have thought of Ron Isley, I would have thought of the Isley brothers. I just couldn't think of his name. So At Your Best was in there because, and then I think one of the songs for the soundtrack that she did, and like a couple other things that doesn't belong. Maybe the Romeo Must Die stuff. I don't even remember, but stuff that didn't belong, that she didn't own, that her estate doesn't own the rights to or intellectual property. So it was terrible. The Whitney movie, like you said, garbage. And what was her name? Yaya.
Yeah,
she did her best. I'm not blaming her. She did pretty good with what she was given. And I feel it's like you said, it's like your nephew is kind of caught in that crossfire. They're doing their jobs. They're doing what they can do. But I will say this once, and I will say it a million times. I don't care how good your acting is. Great acting cannot save terrible writing. It just can't. I don't care how good of an actor you are. Good writing could save bad acting. But great acting cannot save bad writing, terrible writing. You just can't, unless you rewrite it yourself. Like if you ad-lib the entire movie,
or if you're intending to make it cheesy. Yeah. If you're intending to make it cheesy, then yeah,
that's different. But I'm talking about if that wasn't your intentions. If you write, I'm sorry, I don't care who played Whitney Houston in that Whitney Houston movie. The movie sucked. It was written bad. It was badly written, badly produced. Same thing with Aaliyah. They also they're so quick to cast people that don't fit roles. I heard that, and I still didn't watch this movie. I heard that the person they cast as LL Cool J looked nothing like LL Cool J. Like no.
Oh my God, the guy they got to play Tretch. I was like,
that's what I heard about that too. No. I mentioned I don't know if your ears were ringing yesterday. I mentioned you yesterday when me and my brother jumped on and did our little quick show. I said, I want to know what Ralph, I said, you guys can tune in tomorrow and hear what Ralph got to say about this, because I'm sure he saw it. And I said, and Ralph grew up with, he knows Tretch and all of them. He knows Queen Latifah. Like, he knows these are all people from his area. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, so I said, I heard that they made him, and which I had I was not surprised that they made him look crazy.
He didn't look crazy. He looked.
Well, crazy as in bad.
Well, I'm not gonna. I can't debate if it made him look bad because I mean I wasn't involved in their marriage, so I have no idea if that's how he really was. So, but I'm strictly basing this off the guy they had playing him.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like Tretch. No. Not only facially, but body wise, mannerisms. None of the swag when you see Tretch, right? The coolness to him. It's nowhere in this guy. Like I'm like, what'd you guys do? Just pick him out of a COVID line and say, "Oh, yo, you gonna come in here because you don't have it?" I was like, nah, man. You know, me personally, and I put this on my Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Lifetime, stop doing these documentary on musical acts, please. Stick to the stuff that you're good with. The sappy Christmas movies, the sappy love movies. Stick to that. I mean, Lifetime,
or even some of those movies that they do, like don't take my daughter. Like these type of movies. Like or those are pretty.
You're good at that. That's your lane. But when it comes to the idea of music, it's not your lane. I'm sorry. Right now, unless it's going to be a big budget theatrical project like Ray or a Respect or something like that, BET, VH1, MTV, which is all the MTV network, they should be doing. You know why? Because they're probably going. First and foremost, they're probably going to get clearance to use the actual music.
Yeah,
they're going to have the support.
Right, they're going to get clearance to use it. Now, I'm looking at a long list of movies that they did that's based on, real life. Now, obviously, within the mixture of that stuff, you have other people that they did movies on. But that Aaliyah one that was in 2014, they actually did a Brittany Murphy movie too. Brittany Murphy story.
But you know what?
She's not an actor. Yeah. She's not a singer. She's an actor.
She's not a singer. So I could give you Brittany Murphy if you want to do Anna Nicole. I think they'll want Anna Nicole Smith. All those I'm fine with, right? Because you can create the story. They're not getting there on the microphone singing a song, and that you can do. But when it comes to the idea of these musical artists, you can't just make a movie you cannot. And I'm gonna say this: you cannot make a movie about Michael Jackson. No matter what you want to put Michael Jackson, and there's no Michael Jackson, there's no Jackson 5, no Michael Jackson music. Nobody's going to care. Nobody. And I don't care what artist that you can legitimately think of. 99%, unless it was someone that did like a one-hit wonder and went off to do something else. Like not knocking, but let's say you did the Vanilla Ice movie. Sure. You can do the movie where he just did Ice Ice Baby, but Vanilla Ice went off to go do other stuff that keeps him relevant. Yeah. If he had made 8, 9, 10 records, no. And you don't have the rights to any of his music, no. BET, VH1, and I'm put that on MTV. MTV probably wouldn't do it. It would really be VH1 or BET. But one of those three should be the one to deal with musical acts.
Oh, don't forget they did that Tony Braxton one. That was garbage.
I said that garbage.
Oh, you said that? That's garbage. Oh my goodness.
Garbage.
What is wrong with them, man?
Now, after that part, I sat there because I came in late Saturday and I caught the end of it. Then I caught the interview and then I started watching it from the beginning. And I am sorry, you cannot make a Salt and Pepper movie without more of an acknowledgement of Spinderella. There is no way. And it's like I said in my post, that's like trying to make a movie about Naughty by Nature and you don't include KG. Or God forbid, you make a movie about Will Smith and you don't include Jazzy Jeff or Run DMC and it's not about Jam Master Jack. And I even make it worse.
Yep.
At least in the defense of Run DMC. Okay. When Run DMC first came out on their album covers, it was just Run and DMC. Jam Master Jay was kind of like regulated to the back. And then later on, they started putting him on the album covers. If you look at all the Salt and Pepper original music, not the greatest hit, even if you want to count the greatest hit compilations, Spinderella, a.k.a. Deirdre Roper, is on the cover of every single album. Right? The only one she's not on is the first one because they had made it with the first DJ. And then they got rid of her because I heard she wasn't the greatest. I think it was an attitude problem or something, but they dropped her and got the. And even in that part, when Spinderella joined the group, she was 16 years old. 16. So when the time of Push It, she was pushing 17 years old. You don't think that's a storyline you could have put into the movie? That she's an underage child on stage with these two women who are becoming megastars. You just ignored all that stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though, Ralph. We were saying another thing about it is another thing that was a red flag for me, unfortunately, was the fact that they were executive producers in it, and I tell you why, because they're not gonna tell the whole truth.
No,
anyway, you see what I'm saying? Now,
very few artists that sign on.
We mentioned this before. I tip my hat. I ain't gonna take it off because I got no haircut. But I tip my hat to New Edition.
Yeah.
Because they were very honest in their film. Remember, that's not a Lifetime film, but still. Ironically, the same writer of this film wrote the New Edition story and the Bobby Brown story. So it's not his fault. Once again, another person got caught up in it. I believe he had to do what he had to do. Now, he was the writer, but they were the ones who were giving him the material to write. So if you're not going to be 100% honest, brutally honest, because New Edition, although, based on my sources that are very close to New Edition, they may have left one or two things out, but they gave us stuff that nobody knew.
No,
nobody knew.
I never knew that Ricky Bell was addicted to drugs. Never.
Yeah, nobody knew that.
Right.
No one knew. Everyone always talked about Bobby. Everybody always talked about that. No one ever talked about or knew that Ricky Bell was addicted to cocaine.
No, nobody. Now I'll give them credit. Now I did not know that Salt was bulimic. I never knew that was a wow, right? That was a wow. I'm like, oh damn. Wow moment, right? But if you're gonna make a documentary, you need to put everything out there. I'm sorry, but the ignoring of Spinderella and despite people say, well, no, she was in the beginning, like, yeah, you see when they were on the guy that played Arsenio when she was on the couch and all that stuff, but she didn't do nothing. And I'm sorry, Spinderella was not some sort of DJ filler. She was an integral part of the group. It was a three, and let's be clear, Salt and Pepper is a 3-member group. It is not a duo.
Yeah,
it is not.
Yeah, they've always been a 3-member group when they came out of Salt and Pepper. You had the first Spinderella, because remember they came out in a time where it was always about the DJs too. Everyone had to have a DJ back then. They came out in a time of hip hop.
Everybody, LL had
everyone had a DJ. Because let's be honest. Honestly, hip hop started centered around the DJ. The MC only existed to hype up the DJ. That's all the MC did back with the parties and stuff. I'm the MC. This is my DJ, so and so, and he hyped the crowd up. That's all he really did back then. That's all he or she. That's all the MC's job was, to promote the DJ.
Yeah.
So
exactly right.
They came out in an era, of hip hop where you had to have a DJ. So of course a DJ was a big part of the act. Like you said, you mentioned some people. I also mentioned Houdini.
Yeah,
another one. Grandmaster D. It's part of Houdini. He was their DJ.
Yeah.
So you can't do a Houdini movie and not have him in it.
Now you legitimately legitimately. You could do an LL Cool J movie and not have Cut created.
Yeah, you can.
Like you could do one on.
He also switched his guy. Bobcat was his other one. Like he switched DJs midway through his career. But Cut Creator was probably the most known one. But just like, I'm sorry, because they're part of the group, you can't do a Public Enemy movie without Terminator X.
No way. No, it just don't work. Now it's for work.
Terminator X never said nothing, but he was an integral part of the group.
Now I'm friends with Wiz from Kid and Play.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see Kid and Play House Party, Wiz is in the movie.
Yeah.
He is not, but he is not on any of the album covers. He is not as widely known. But the people in the industry, when you say DJ Wiz, oh yeah, he's a DJ for Kid and Play.
Mm-hmm.
So could you make a movie about a bio movie, not a house party movie about Kid and Play, but a real bio movie about Kid and Play without mentioning Wiz? That's a debatable question. I'm probably going to say no.
Right, but they never, like you said, they didn't do like Salt and Pepper. Spinderella was on all of their promotional material. She toured with them. She was on stage with them. Sometimes she danced with them in the videos, stuff like that.
Interviews.
She was always with them. Okay. Houdini always had their DJ with them, even though the only two guys rapped. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, Terminator X always stood in there when they with Public Enemy, stuff like that. You can't do it. So having her like pretty much now there's obviously there's story behind it. And we know that a couple years ago she was quote unquote fired from the group because of whatever internal problems that they had. I don't really know all of the stories. I'm not going to quote anything, but I do know.
I can't. I will. Yeah. It busts down to money. Spinderella said up flat out that the group was not paying her the royalties that she was entitled to.
Yeah. Exactly.
It came down, and then in the end, Spinderella was fired.
Money, right. For those that song is all comes down to money. It all comes down to the money.
And I'm sitting now. I'm going to answer something I see in the chat room because Joseph Tennant saying, "Well, Ralph, they did that with the Michael Jackson movie. This Is It." First and foremost, This Is It was about Michael Jackson's last tour, and there's still Michael Jackson music throughout the entire movie. It's not gone.
No.
But if you're going to make a biography film about a musical artist, I don't care what musical artist you legitimately put in front of you. You cannot make a bio movie about a musical artist and not have their music in it. Like, listen, as great as Ray was, which it is a great movie, but there was no way they were going to make that without any music in it from Ray Charles. No way, because then, exactly. James Brown, like I said, you have an Aretha Franklin project coming out pretty soon. You can't make that without the artist's music in the movie. And frankly, it needs to be the original movie, not the person you playing it redoing the music. Because number one, 9 times out of 10, the actor that you get to play that role is not going to be to the musical capacity that the original person was. Yes, Aretha Franklin is going to have Jennifer Hudson in it. Now, Jennifer Hudson, yeah, I listened to her doing. She did Aretha Franklin's music over, of course. But if you said that was Kerry Washington, no.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And here's another thing: they dropped the ball. Now, one film that really dropped the ball that I was very disappointed in, and it was kind of like a waste, was the film about Jimi Hendrix, because they had to go. They once again, same situation. They had no access to any of his actual like music hits. They were still, they talked about early stuff when he was in Europe, and that's what the movie was kind of set around. But you have Andre 3000 playing him, who really was like a perfect person to kind of play him. It's look wise and stuff like that. He had already, got some acting chops under his belt, and I was looking forward to him doing a very good job as Jimi Hendrix. He learned to play guitar, everything. But it was a waste because you put out this movie and you're not playing Jimi Hendrix music. Mm-hmm. So it's like not the music that we know him for.
Right.
And that was a waste. And they put that in the theaters. That was a waste, man.
Waste of a couple years ago, I started to know. Yeah. I started to get to know the director. Crap, I'm having trouble thinking of his name right now. Hold on a second. Shoot. I don't know him very well, but we started to get to know each other. George Tillman Jr., right? He's the director that did it from The Hate You Give, right? When I originally met him, he was at Urban X Awards not Urban X Awards, Urban World Film Festival. He's promoting another movie. And I got introduced to him through a mutual friend of ours, and we were sitting there talking. And I remember the last night I saw him, he said that he was going to go take a meeting with the family of Miles Davis because he wanted to do a Miles Davis biop. Right now, at the time, Don Chaney was also doing a Miles Davis film, but the difference was Don Cheadle did not have the permission of the Miles Davis family for the music. He didn't have it.
I didn't know
that. Whereas Tillman had the permission of the family to do it. Now, their family wanted to have more say-so in the script because obviously there were some things they did not want to come on the screen. They didn't want to make him seem like a rat. I get all that stuff, which you shouldn't have done no way. But as of yet, Tillman's project hasn't got done. Cheeto's project came out, and no, it is not a very good movie. It is not. Because you do
he also
not
didn't have access to the music, right?
No, he did not. He did not have access to the music.
Man, like, you got to do it right. Obviously we got the ones that did it right. Bohemian Rhapsody was done right. You know what I'm saying? Queen was involved in the production of it. It was done right. And of course it had some inconsistencies that we talked about. We did a show about that. It had a few inconsistencies that people put out there and things like that, timeline inconsistencies. But for the most part, the movie was done right. It was well acted.
Rocket Man, I haven't seen. I did not see Rocket Man, but I did not hear one single person complaining about the music part. They thought that it was a great movie and it portrayed Elton John the way that he was. But if you did that and his music wasn't there, would anybody want to see it? No, because that's not. We don't care. Not to sound cruel, but we wouldn't care about Elton John if he was working in McDonald's. But we cared about Elton John, this flamboyant guy that comes on stage in these outlandish outfits and could play the hell at the piano. And if you look at every single movie, there's a documentary, right, that's about somebody's artist. The ones that we really, really, really like, the family has co-signed.
Yeah.
Great Balls of Fire. La Bamba got the family involved in it. Selena has the family involved, and they were hurting because basically theirs about their daughter came out a year or two after she died, so they were hurting, but they understood what she meant to the community. And once again, no disrespect to Jennifer Lopez, especially at that time. Jennifer Lopez was not J-Lo when that came out.
Right.
They didn't know if she was going to be able to handle it, so they gave their consent to put the music into it. And everybody, even to this day, there's only really two movies that we talk about with Jennifer Lopez, and it's Out of Sight and Selena. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. When it comes to these television adaptations, that same policy should have. New Edition had, and the Bobby Brown story had the blessings of New Edition and Bobby Brown. TLC, which I still think, which really should be the gold standard. The TLC movie, come on.
Yeah.
They gave permission to everything. Every bad thing.
Music stations. They were done by, that, like you said, that was VH1. The other one was BET that you mentioned.
Yeah.
These are all networks that dealt with musical talent and stuff like that. And they produced, they didn't produce it, but they distributed and showed the movies. And like I said before, another thing I have to those two movies, what made them good was both parties involved, New Edition, TLC, they were honest about stuff, even if it made them look bad, so to speak. They were honest. Yeah. So you have to be completely, not saying that Salt and Pepper were not completely honest. I mean, not saying that they weren't honest at all, but they're not completely honest because you got things that happen. People talk about, well, what happened to, what did they say? How come nobody mentioned, Tupac? Tupac was dealing with Salt. Well, like my brother mentioned, Salt at the time she was dealing with Tupac was in a committed relationship. She's not going to put that out there. Even though some people know, but she's not digging into that.
I ain't never known that.
Yeah, she was in a committed relationship at the time.
No, I
Yeah,
never knew that.
but, and you're not going to know it because they wouldn't put it out there anyway. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of things out there. And then, of course, you're going to hear now, what the backlash. We're going to get a book from Spinderella. We know that because she already talked about it. She tweeted about it. Well, don't be surprised. We haven't heard from Tretch yet, but he may jump in there, and don't be surprised if he wants to tell his story. Not say he'll do a book, but he may be on DJ Vlad or something like that. In 3, 2, 1, he might be over there, expressing, because that always happens with the spouses, right? They're like, oh no, they projected me wrong, and this didn't happen. It didn't go down like that. That's gonna happen. Now we can't judge because we don't know what happened in their marriage, right?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I am not.
Yeah, you're just judging from aesthetically.
That part. Only thing I'm judging
the person,
the guy they had playing was way
cast
wrong.
this guy, this real light skinned guy, like to play Damon Dash. He just didn't look. He did not embody the Damon Dash persona whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And they had him. They cast just some. It's like they cast some random guy. And then I'm looking at this list of biopics that I didn't even know that they did because I just don't trust them with nothing. They actually did a Britney Spears biopic. I'm looking at the picture of the person who cast as Britney. I'm just like, who is this?
And and frankly, they did that one way too early because there's been a whole lot of things that's happened to Britney Spears. If you did it now, maybe. But that reminds me that I forget the station did it, but the station did that really crappy MC Hammer biopic, right? And they had the guy from Moesha playing Tupac. I was like, what? No.
Moesha.
Was it?
Who? Wait, what guy from Moesha?
The one
Fredro?
No. That might have been different. No, the guy. What Hakeem? They had Hakeem playing Tupac. I was like, come on, man, you couldn't have got nobody else, really? No. And then you had Cole playing MC Hammer. No.
Now the one Cole playing MC Hammer. What? Yo, that's too funny. It seems like they do that all the time. They go and grab people. That's just like, nah, son. Now I remember watching the last Lifetime biopic that I remember watching, which also caught a lot of flack because of just people complaining about it, was the unauthorized Saved by the Bell story, which probably one of the, I don't want to say closest that they had. I'm not sure.
But you know how they get away with that and put on the not authorized story, because since you don't have all the information, you can actually make something up, and so long as you try to keep it within what was going on with the cast. I mean, I didn't see it, but I heard about that one. There's one floating around about the unauthorized story about Gilligan's Island. That's great. That's great. So you can do that. But if you're gonna make the authorized story of anything, like if you're gonna make the authorized story of Man of Steel, no, I'm sorry. If you're gonna make the authorized story of Justice League, okay, something that you can't gloss over what happened to Zack Snyder. You can't gloss over that because that incident affected the film itself. Now you may be able to sit there and play around with how they decided to cast Gal Gadot and Affleck. You can figure that part out, like casting. That's fine. But that part with Zack Snyder, you can't just gloss over like, oh well, we know what happened in real life, but we're just going to pretend like it didn't. We're going to make because
or even in this point, Ray Fisher, you can't avoid what went down with him, with Ray Fisher.
Right, and I'm sorry, but and we're going to take it off music bios. When you're making bios on people, real life people, right? You got to throw if whoever that you feel is worthy of a bio film. That means they've done a lot of good stuff, but you have to throw in the bad stuff that's involved. Social Network
That's part of it.
proved it. Proved it.
That's
Everybody
why it was a
praised
good. That's why it was a good.
the Hurricane, Malcolm X, all these really great bio films. They're not going to gloss over the bad things that went on too, because you know why? Right. You know why? Because we all appeal or like to follow our heroes. Let's take Malcolm X. You could sit there if you didn't know anything about Malcolm X and you heard about Malcolm X, you would become a fan of the words that he said, the strength of his voice, the wisdom. But would you have the same feeling at the same time knowing that he used to be a hustler, that he used to be a bellboy, that he was a robber, he served time in jail, he took drugs? That somewhat dilutes our image of what our hero is. But that's what's necessary to make the hero. Nobody comes into anything that becomes a hero and they're squeaky clean. Not one person. I don't give a goddamn what hero you pick. Nobody. I know some people say, "Well, Ralph, what about Jesus?" Jesus is a different story. That's a vastly different story, right? Vastly different.
I agree.
Vastly different. But our mortal heroes, mortal. No mortal hero that we have is squeaky clean. All of them have some dirt, and if you're gonna make a bio about that person, you can't just ignore the dirt. Well, you don't think that you don't, and folks, let me be honestly clear with you. You don't think that if anybody ever does an R. Kelly new bio film, do you think they're going to let all these allegations that are hanging over his head and him sitting in jail? Are they just going to just ignore that when they're going to end it off with him doing I Can Fly, Fade to Black, and that's it? No. No, that's part one. That's part one.
Yep.
Where do you see part two?
No, I agree. 100%. Yeah, so that's a problem. And like I said before, I said it yesterday, I'm gonna say it today. I don't care what you're doing. It was wrong to leave her out of the film or write her out. Now I did look up the cast list, and I know you mentioned that they showed her like in one scene, or that was her. It was supposed to be like her character in one scene, because they did cast someone as her.
In the scene, there's a scene in the movie where they do discuss in the beginning where they bring Spinderella in. There is a scene where they are sitting on the Arsenio Hall show. He's asking about how they changed theirs to Let's Talk About Sex, and Spinderella sitting there on the couch. And there's other times when they are on stage and you can see the person that's playing Spinderella behind them. So you acknowledge that it's like you say, yeah, there was a person named Spinderella, but it necessarily wasn't DeDe Roper. It's just somebody we call Spinderella. Because right now, Salt and Pepper will tell you this, and they have said this recently. We could have got anybody to be Spinderella. It didn't have to be DeDe Roper. It could have been anybody. Really? If that's how you legitimately felt that anybody could have been your DJs and you just called them Spinderella, then they didn't need to be in your videos. They didn't need to be sitting down with you when you're on Arsenio Hall or Johnny Carson or MTV Live. None of them. They don't need to be on your album. They shouldn't have been on your album covers.
Exactly.
And I'm probably guessing that Deirdre Roper, Spinderella, is the godmother to either Salt or Pepper's child, and they're probably the godparents to her kids. Someone that you feel if what I just said is reality, someone that's that insignificant into your professional life, they don't need to be involved in your personal life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know when Spinderella used to go out with Kenny Anderson, that used to play basketball for the New Jersey Nets. Kenny Anderson left her for Tammy Roman when she was on The Real World. You don't think that her sisters came to her back when her marriage was failing over another woman? Come on, man.
Like I said, they fell out.
Come on.
And it was a money thing. I know that Salt was on an interview and she did mention something about ultimately, she said ultimately it never got to a place where she was happy with the outcomes or whatever. Basically, that tells me they couldn't negotiate the money that she wanted. And whether it was money for the film, whether it was some sort of creative liberty or, say so about how her character is portrayed, possibly. But like you just said, you just mentioned about the thing with Kenny Ans, like that could have been part of the story if they were being honest and they had everybody in there. That could have, because now because they each one of them have their own lives and had their own thing going on, tragedy, whatever you want to call it, problems. Let's be honest, people. No one wants to see a biopic that doesn't have any, and I'm saying, and I know you said there was some things in here like her being bulimic, stuff like that, but no one wants to sit there and watch a glorified music video. They want to see things that they never seen before, heard about before.
Like frankly, and I hate to say this because it flies in what I just been sitting and talking. The Tupac bio, All Eyes on Me. It is basically like a glorified music video. There was no depth to me. There was no depth in the entire movie for me to really feel for Tupac. Now the parts where he saw his mom taking drugs, that part I felt, but I didn't really feel the connection to Tupac Shakur himself, to his situation. They tried to make it seem like Tupac was always angry, always militant, always had walked around with a chip on his shoulder. And I met Tupac one time in the club. I did not know this man in real life, but I know Tretch is his best friend. I'm quite sure that Tupac was not always angry, not always upset, not always.
Of course he wasn't. Remember, we've had guests.
Now, when you see Notorious,
we had people on, that knew a whole different side of Tupac.
Back that statement up.
Yeah.
Right. Now, when you see Notorious, right, you see a different. We know Biggie Smalls, the rapper, but that put us into Biggie Smalls' son, father, the effects of what fame did to him when he started, and then his relationship with Lil' Kim. You saw all that stuff played out. When when he died, you felt that. You was like, damn, man. I didn't feel that with that. I certainly felt that way with Straight Outta Compton. Ray, and like I said, other classic ones.
Straight Outta Compton was well done. And then, of course, everyone a lot. You can't get everything in, so a lot of people leave things out. But it was well done. Straight Outta Compton was well done. What you call it was kind of like 8 Mile was kind of like Purple Rain. It was loosely based on his life. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was well done. But it was loosely based.
But
it's just like Purple Rain.
You felt for Aiden. You felt for Eminem. You felt his struggle, and you can say the same thing with Purple Rain. You felt Prince's pain when his father, when he shot his father, and him trying to figure out what he's going to do with his life or how he's going to make it. That's why there's such a big, at least in my book, a big disconnect between Purple Rain and Graffiti Bridge. Graffiti Bridge is awful. It's awful. That's not what happened with Prince after he got famous. Was that crap?
Yeah, that's terrible.
It was terrible. And I'm gonna always say this, and this is more glaring for musicians. You can't make a bio movie about any musician without having their family giving their blessing to release the rights to music. I don't want to see a Janet Jackson movie without hearing "What Have You Done for Me Lately" in it,
right?
Or Control. Yeah. I don't. It's gonna suck me out.
Yeah,
like as you and Kev would say when they change certain things, and that's from the core material. Control is the core material. You can't just say, "Oh, well, we just ain't going to include no Janet Jackson music." Really,
you got to be honest. I mean, it's just like but the movies that we know that were revealing some honesty, stuff that may or may not have made them look so good, you know, but you're being honest about it, you know, you get respect for that. You know what I mean? The Bobby Brown movie that revealed things that we knew about Bobby and revealed things that we didn't know about Bobby. A lot of people, I had read of his book, but a lot of people didn't know that he had an affair going on with Janet Jackson. A lot of people didn't know that.
I never knew that. I never.
Now, I heard about it a long time ago. I heard about it. And then he mentioned it like in 2016 or something like that. He had a book or something like that. He mentioned it in the book too. So I did know about it. You know, I've heard about it. But it was cool to see it play out on screen.
No, I remember when he was on Video Soul. That's kind of dating how old I am, right? I remember him saying, you know, that he was really attracted to Janet Jackson because he was talking to Donnie Simpson about her. Nowhere did I know that Janet was giving it up to him. Like wow. So Janet was really like that in her control days.
But the whole thing was, which he touched on. He didn't even go all the way into that because he didn't want to, you know, make her look any worse or whatever. But you know, it was her family really, like Joe Jackson and stuff. They were the ones that was pressing her, you know, not to come out and, you know, be seen with him. Plus, remember, they're from a different time. They're from a time in the music business where it wasn't cool to let people know you were in a relationship. That wasn't cool. Even if you were two celebrities, that would kill your fan base. That would hurt your fan base. Because Janet Jackson is going to have a predominantly male fan base back when she's considered a sex symbol, just like Bobby Brown is going to have a predominantly female fan base because he's considered a sex symbol. So it's going to kill part of your fan base to come out and be like, "Oh, I'm with Janet Jackson." What? You know, it's going to just takes away the fantasy.
I have had this fantasy. Yeah, and as I remember, I was involved with this music group, and we were having a sit down with the people from Universal Records, right? Talking about signing. Yeah. And one of the things that I learned from that meeting was the guy said that, because he was like, you know, he had been in the music business for like 20-something years. He said, we never tell artists when they sign to reveal the fact that you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, it's a significant other. Because of the fact, he said, I'm going to tell you right now. Right now, I think at that time, hot was Justin Bieber. I think at the time. Right now, he said, right now, there was some girl, some 15, 16-year-old girl that's got a Justin Bieber poster on her wall thinking about, I love Justin Bieber. Exactly. And at any given time, you have to make your musical persona has to appear that on any given night. If the mood is right, that fan can catch your eye. Once you drop the fact that you're involved with somebody, the fantasy is over because now you're just like Joe Blow Public. Yep. It's a wrap. And if you see a lot of these artists that announce that they're with somebody, when they come out the gate, they're single. Maybe 2 or 3 years when someone come established, they say, "Oh yeah, I'm involved with somebody." And when they're fresh out the gate, nothing. Like I mean, all you Chris Brown. Chris Brown didn't tell nobody that he was knocking down Rihanna when they were both coming out the gate. That was like into their relationship when it came out.
Yeah.
Then you saw what happened.
Because of social media, things change as far as, you know, people are more interested. I still think it's not a good move, but some people, you know, because social media now, people are more interested in people, and it really just puts more people into your life. It puts more people in your business.
But I think now that we certainly are well deep into an age of social media, but also 24-hour news coverage, and the increase of the paparazzi, I think it's harder to keep that secret that you're involved with someone that's famous, or whether I take that back, whether you're involved with someone that's famous or a regular person, it's harder to keep it secret. I mean, you have to be making moves like you're the FBI or something to keep your significant other under wraps. That they exist. You know, I was just watching the documentary about Tiger Woods, right? If you haven't seen it, watch it on HBO. And they were talking about the woman that's to this day she's considered, you know, homewrecker, of what they were going through to keep her under wraps. And who broke the story but the National Enquirer broke the story. We're going to break the story that he was dating that girl because they caught him. They said we were doing surveillance on Tiger Woods They the guy next door said we actually caught Tiger Woods, and not with that girl that's the first girl. That they caught him in a public parking lot having sex in the back in their car. Said not only did we catch him, we even got the tampon that she took out of her vagina. She threw it on the ground. When Tiger Woods drove away, they went over there and picked it up and kept it as evidence.
Wow.
And was going to drop the story, but Tiger Woods' people made a deal with National Enquirer that in exchange for them not releasing that story, that he would be on the cover of Men's Health and Fitness, which he did do. But the story about the first girl that he was busted with never came out. Never came out. The second girl, which is the one that everybody knows, the stuff she even said, they even have her in the document. She said we were doing all kinds of things to be secret. No way did we know that we were being surveyed by the National Enquirer, not TMZ, not people, the National Enquirer.
Wow.
You know, having rooms on different floors, driving them in different cars, all of this stuff. But once she showed up to the Australian Open, because Tiger won there, it was a wrap. They had everything they needed. They didn't need anything else. They put one and one together, and guess what? They got 15 different ways to screw him over.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to check that out.
And that was back in. Check it out. It's 2 parts, and the first part is about Tiger Woods coming up in the golfing game, becoming Tiger Woods, the golfing legend. The second part is about all his dirt, right? Yeah. And it's intriguing what he went through, and I know one of the women that Tiger Woods messed around with, right?
Right.
And I sat here looking at the documentary, and I basically said I think Tiger Woods is a jerk, or at least he was a jerk.
Yeah.
He was someone that got famous too fast, too much money, too young, but too ego. And he even said I thought that I could just do anything I wanted to do in any given time. And it wasn't until till he got arrested for driving impaired, because he wasn't drunk. He was like on 7 different drugs, like sleeping pills, bunch of shit. That's what it took to wake him up. But that's still after all the cheating, your wife leaving you, taking your kids, this whole downfall. I think when he was arrested was the time he was dating the skier Lindsey Vonn. That's when he got the reality check. Back after back surgeries, knee scoped. Now you got the reality check. But in hindsight, all the time when you were becoming Tiger Woods, what they used to call Tiger Woods the Machine, you were a jerk, and you just didn't care.
So, shout out to Jimmy Ace, who joined us in the chat room. Thanks for joining us, brother. Check out his show, man. Like we said, his show it airs. Well, I think this might be the last time it airs on Saturday. Then they're gonna move to Tuesday after the NFL Super Bowl. So they're going to be.
Hey, all you Aaron Rodgers fans. I kept telling people don't bet against Brady. He was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be in Lambeau, it's gonna snow." I say, "Yeah, but Brady know how to play in the snow. He's from New England."
England, you know. And guess what? By the time the game, they had some shots in that game. I'm like, are they in Lambeau Field? I was like, that field looks great. I'm like, if they were hoping for bad weather,
they were clearing it out like around 11 o'clock. They were clearing that thing out at 10 o'clock in the morning. They were clearing that stadium out of snow. And
I'll tell you, man, it's hard to bet against Brady,
I was not surprised.
But this dude Mahomes he's a problem. He is a problem. This kid is the real deal.
I am not saying that he's not the real deal. I think Mahomes is real. But once again, you're betting against a guy that's got 6 rings. That's going to his 10th. So there are teams in the NFL that have not played in 10 Super Bowls. This man is playing in his 10th.
There's plenty of teams
in his home
franchise that hasn't been to Super Bowl 10 times.
Right. And he's playing in their home stadium. He got the ultimate home court advantage of any team. You know.
Yeah. Like I said,
So I'm sorry.
if anybody
it'd
would
be hard
come in
pressed for
there
me to
and
bet
win,
against
I think
Brady.
it'd be Mahomes. I think if there's anybody else, I think it's a lock Brady win. If anyone could come in and make it happen, would be Kansas City because it's just such a potent team offense, especially.
It's going.
The defense. It's
to be
going to
close.
definitely be. Yeah, it's going to definitely be. Tampa Bay defense is going to have to really step up and try to stop some of these guys. I mean, that guy that they have. What's his name? I forget his name. The number 10 on Kansas City. That guy had 170 yards. He had 170.
He's home. He's dangerous.
He's then you got Kelsey. You got Travis Kelsey, who's the quarterback is Mahomes. We know that, but I'm talking about their receiver. That guy is dangerous by himself. So that's cool. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see. It's funny I'm saying I'd like to see Brady win. I never really say that, but I wanted Brady to prove to everybody what I've been saying, that it was not Bill Belichick, it was Tom Brady. And because of that, showing that this year, his first year in a new team, and they're in the Super Bowl. And it's not like he came to a team that was already in the Super Bowl. He didn't pull a KD. He didn't pull a Kevin Durant. Well, Kevin Durant went to a team that was already a championship team and just made them a better championship team. He went to a team that was not in the Super Bowl since what, the 90s? I don't remember when did that happen?
The only time they went to Super Bowl, they ain't been back.
Yeah. Right, when they went to Super Bowl at the time. So it's been years though. So and now they're in the Super Bowl. Same team for the most part. It's added him, added Gronk, but most of the core people that were there. It was 2002. Jimmy Ace says his name is in the Super Bowl. Yeah,
I just wanted to see ESPN this morning, and just like I thought, Max Kellerman backpedaling, and I really wanted to call it. In fact, I wish ESPN at times had a phone call. I would call and say, Max, what else Brady got to prove? He's in the Super Bowl. What else he got to prove? Because every week he's saying Brady's got something to prove. Brady got something to prove. Like he said, he's going off the cliff with his talent. He's 43. Yeah, he going on the cliff, but he's in his 10th Super Bowl. 10th. Right.
Yeah, he keeps that going on the clip, man. Max Kellerman, I don't pay him no mind when it comes to this stuff. Number one, he's a boxing guy. That's who when he talks about boxing, I listen to him. He's just trying to not make himself look like an idiot because he's been saying for the last 3-4 years that Tom Brady's gonna fall off this cliff that he's been saying. And he ain't fell off the cliff yet. He threw 40 touchdowns this year.
In the last 5 years, he has walked off with 2 Super Bowl titles in the last 5 years. 4 Super Bowl appearances in the last 5 years.
That's why,
I wish I had
right. Exactly. That's the cliff. And let this sink in. The man he's been in the league for 21 seasons. He's only played 20 because he was hurt one season. So he's played 20 seasons, and he has been in the Super Bowl half of his career. 10 times. That's half his career. Half his professional career, he has played in the Super Bowl. 3/4 of his professional career, he's been in a championship game. Let that sink in.
What kind of crap is? Yeah, just let that.
And yet you're talking about, I'm telling you, he's gonna fall off a cliff. I'm telling you, and I'm like, dude, when's he gonna fall off a cliff? When he's 50? I mean, if you sit there and keep predicting it every year after year after year, eventually you're gonna be right. And then you're going to be saying, I told you, he's falling off that cliff. And you're like, he's 50. You know what I'm saying? So
I know.
Tom Brady said he wants to play till he's 45. Guess what? He's already 42, 43. he's gonna play till he's 45.
Now, see, now that's the part I disagree. I think that if he does win this year, he wins. I think then now he said he should retire because now I think that there's you if you felt like you had something else to prove, this is the last thing to prove that you could got Super Bowl without Bill Belichick, and now you've done it and you won it. There's nothing else that's at the pat your stats. That's really all. But then you also run the risk of injury.
What it is, but I talked about this with my son, who is he's a Patriots fan. He, of course, rooting for Brady, but he said, he's like, Tom Brady's going to find something to motivate him. Even if he wins the Super Bowl, he's going to find something, some stupid little thing. He's like, what? And it's going to motivate him. Because that's another thing. Coming into this game, they were not the favorite. You don't think, and I think Jimmy Ace mentioned that on his show. You keep giving this guy anything to get motivated behind, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Now, the next couple of weeks, you're going to hear a lot of talk about, and that some people are going to say that Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs is going to come in there, and they're going to beat them. They're going to beat them good, and they're going to do this and it. Don't put no fuel in this man's fire. Tom Brady, please. And I'm going to tell you right now, I honestly think it's going to come down to the defense of Tampa Bay, because I believe Tom Brady will be able to keep up with them as far as scoring. I just think that Tampa Bay is going to have to make a few plays, and then it'll be close. And that's it. We'll leave the sports to Jimmy Ace and his show, The Bench Warmers, that comes on Saturday evenings, soon to be switched over to Tuesday nights. But let's get into the ExpendaBROS. Right? We've been doing this thing with the Expendables and all that other stuff, and I'm just, I've made a little bit of a list, if you will, and I got a couple people. We talked about it, and we pretty much know who's the locks and who's going to be there, but I do want to talk about it. So the Expendables. Now, if we could do the ExpendaBROS, the good news is this could be a direct spinoff of the Expendables 3, because Wesley Snipes was in it. So you could take his character and spin off
Dr. Death.
Yep, it's exactly, and spin off this new movie, which we will call the ExpendaBROS. So I'm going to, throw a couple of people out there, of course. Most of it, we probably came up with a lot of the same things, but regardless, I don't know if you made a list, but I just kind of grabbed a couple of people here. All right. Well, Wesley Snipes, we all know, we all agree that Wesley Snipes probably they should spin it off with his character, and he should be kind of like the star of the film, right? He'll be the Stallone of the film. Another person that I have, and we talked about it as well, I believe is necessary to have, is Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers, I don't know if I have his slide next, but who's that? Yeah, there he is. Carl Weathers. Just got revived with the Mandalorian. He's still Carl Weathers. He's still in decent shape too, and I'm sure he can get back into he's one of some of those dudes. These guys, even when they get what's called out of shape for them, what's considered out of shape for them,
it's not out of shape.
They can snap back into it. It's not out of shape for the normal person. For them, it might be. They could snap back into it when they need to. It's not a workout stuff. Carl Weathers needs to be in this film, most definitely. Now, one person we forgot to mention when we were throwing out names yesterday, and let me see who I got next first of all. But who do I got next? Oh, of course we mentioned Michael Jai White. Michael Jai White will be the Jet Li character. He'll be the martial arts guy in the film. Right? So we got him in there. That's who I have. These three are mandatory to be in this film, in my opinion. Okay. I think. Who else do I have up here? I said Idris Elba. I think Idris Elba needs to be in this film as well. I don't know if he's going to be. Yeah, he'll still be part of the team because we already said who we think the villains should be. And I'm sticking with that. I think the villains should be Denzel Washington as the main bad guy, and then Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as the second, second in command bad guy, the muscle, so to speak, of the bad guys. So there's Idris. I want to say, who else do I have here? Maybe just bring another person. Okay, we left out Will Smith. You can't leave out Will Smith, bro. Will Smith is an action guy.
Yeah, Will Smith. Yeah, Will Smith is off this list that I have here, but I guess. Damn.
I mean, I had to put. I had to put him in it because we talked about it last week. We talked about it last week, and we forgot to mention him. And how could we? I don't know. Maybe because Will's is it, but this film is all about adding the superstars, and it's all about that. It's all about having a bunch of superstars on one screen. Will Smith has to be in this movie somewhere. Yeah, it doesn't matter what role he plays. He could be one of those because like we said before, you had Schwarzenegger, you had what's his name?
Jet Li in it.
Yeah, you had all those people that were in there that was just action people,
like Chuck Norris just
showed up, stuff like that. So Will Smith's got to be in this movie, man. He's been an action hero, an action actor most of his career.
Yeah,
he's been doing action films.
I'm not gonna have Michael Lowry up in there.
Yeah, Mike Lowry. Yeah, Mike Lowry in there. I mean, not just that. I mean, most of the big films that he's done are action films. So you got to have Will Smith in there. And then I have a couple other people that we throw in. Of course, people saying Samuel Jackson.
Nope.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He's done his fair share of action films.
True, but no. I thought about Samuel Jackson. I was like, nope. Yeah. I thought about Morgan Freeman. I was like, nope.
I didn't go with Morgan. So Samuel to me is not a lock for sure. He's a possible because he has done his share of action films. Of course, Fred Williamson. I said, if you get a little classic look, throw Fred Williamson up in there. And I can't have it without the man right here. You know what I'm saying? You got just on GP. You gotta put Richard Roundtree in there. You know what I'm saying? He would be great. Look at that look right there. That'd be a perfect look for the movie. He would be great just being that old dude that, the OG that they run, quick scene that they kind of just kick it with, maybe get some intel from him or something like that. And he just schooling them on, they trying to find out about Denzel Washington's character. And he's like, look, I came head to head with that dude years ago or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of like that one.
He's like a retired OG, right? You know, you gotta have him in there. And also, now I'm trying to find here because you know that also they also usually throw at least one modern person in the cast. Like, you know, you had Helmsworth, who's like a young guy. He's not no, big icon of, action films. They had Hemsworth in there, right? In one of them. They also put in I never picked the wrestler character either. They had like the wrestler guy in there. I didn't pick one. I guess The Rock would be that guy that used to be a wrestler, Yeah. So there's a couple other ones that I'll go through real quick, and then we'll go through your list. Some of them you may have some of that. There's The Rock. Speaking of The Rock, there he is. We know that he will play
He gotta be a bad guy.
He's got to be the bad guy. I gotta have him as the bad guy.
I'm tired of him always being a good guy.
Yeah. No, he should be the bad guy because you gotta have him have a nice fight scene with like Michael Jai White or something like that.
Yeah, like in the second one when you have Stallone taking on Jean-Claude Van Damme. That was a good fight, and I was not expecting to see that. Like, wow! But think about it, that's Cyborg, Lionheart going up against Rocky, Rambo. Like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. My other guys, well, there's Denzel. We talked about, of course, will be the big baddie. He will be the main guy. He's the brains. He's the brawn, right? He's gonna be. He's the muscle. He's the brains of the operation, and the main.
Now I gotta ask this question because I was thinking about this the other day when I was making my list. Which version of Denzel Washington do we want? Do we want Denzel from Training Day or Denzel from American Gangster? Like, which one do we really want?
I'd like to see a mixture of Denzel from Training Day mixed with The Equalizer. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, like, I would love to see him throughout the whole movie, not doing nothing, just being the brains behind it. But then when they finally get to him, he on that Equalizer-ish. You know what I mean? Where it's a real fight. And that battle has to be him and Wesley Snipes. Him and Wesley Snipes have to battle it out at the end. Because Snipes is going to be the star. There's got to be him and Snipes, or maybe him and Carl Weathers. It's going to be one of the two, battling out.
I think I would like to see Denzel, and actually, I would like to see Dwayne going up against Carl Weathers.
Okay, that would be cool.
I would kind of like to see that one. Like, okay, Apollo, let's see what you got.
Some other people that I got in. I don't know who's next. Okay, Don Cheadle I have in there. I think Don Cheadle would be good as an intelligence guy on the team. You know what I mean? The intel dude. However, Don Cheadle can get it in too with some action. He also is a martial artist, I believe, as well. I forgot what he studied. You can see him on either side, but I think he'd be good as an intel, even on the bad side as an intel guy. You know what I'm saying? Even whatever way you want to look at it, I have him in there. Who else we got here? There's Vin Diesel. Now we talked about that last week. Now the only thing that would disqualify him from this, in my opinion, is what we talked about, him being involved deeply in a franchise like the Fast franchise. But that franchise is coming to an end anyway. So that's why I don't think it would leave him out if that was the case, and he is black. So you got to consider him, in my opinion. Is he a lock? I don't know. But you got to consider him because he's done, the Fast stuff. That's action. He did the XXX stuff. That's action. You know, so he's got a legitimate argument. This was my guy. This was my pick for the young guy that they're supposed to put in, you know, like the Hemsworth character. I have two of them. He's one pick, and that's Yahya Mateen. I think he would be good. I think he would be good in this film. He could play either side as well. He'd be he'd be good on the bad guy side, and he'd be good as one of the team.
I forgot about him. Yeah,
because he's he's kind of like the more recent. He's kind of like the more recent, like he would be like that Hemsworth character where you've seen this guy, recently in something. So I have him, and I have another guy as a pick for that too. But then now we talked about this guy, Lawrence Fishburne. We originally said no. I don't know if I truly feel no, because now I'm running down people. The people that I've been through, you've seen, those were my locks for the movie. Now I'm throwing my possibilities. All right, he has done his fair share of action film. He's done his fair share of action films.
True.
And once again, we know how the Expendables work. You also have that guy that pops in, and he may not be doing no crazy action sequence, but he pops in and has his cameo. He
just got like a quick 5 minutes, and that's it.
Bruce Willis did it. Yeah, Chuck Norris. Was Lethal Weapon. He did it. What's his name? Mel Gibson.
Oh, he was like the bad guy.
Yeah, he was the bad guy. Right. So he's a possibility as well. Now we talked about Tyrese. I had to throw that picture in there. Now, I went through his stuff, and he has a legitimate argument because he's done his fair share of action films with characters, and he's also playing an FBI agent or something like that, or a cop in the upcoming film Morbius. He's also in the new Fast 5, the new Fast film, Fast 9, F9, whatever. And he's got another film, I think, coming out too. I forgot. That's like an action film. He's been in a couple other films where Waist Deep, where that's not really an action film, but kind of sort of. Then he was in that film, the Black and White. Is that what it was called? Or Black and Blue? Black and Blue.
Yeah.
Action. The one that he was in with Megan Good was kind of like, was that Waist Deep? Was that the
Waist Deep?
Yeah. Deep. I don't know, but I had to at least throw him out there because he has a legitimate argument. And here's another guy, a sleeper, I think, wouldn't mind seeing him in there. He'd also be a good bad guy because look at that. I specifically picked this picture with the beard. That beard makes him look like a real evil dude. You know what I'm saying?
He's on. I have him down there on my list.
Mike Holder. Mike Holder. Yeah. He was a bad guy. If I'm not mistaken, was he in that film with Tyrese? Wasn't he in that film with Tyrese? Black and Blue. I think he was in that. Am I getting it mixed up with another film? No. I think that's the film. I think he's in it.
Yeah, he's in Black and Blue. He's in there.
Yeah. He was a bad guy. He was kind of like a anti-hero in that. Like he was a bad guy, but not, whatever. He had his moment. So that's cool. He's on your list. That's what's up. Now here was my other pick for the young guy. His name is Aldis Hodge, right? He's just been cast as the new Hawkman. He's gonna be appearing in, I believe he's in The Rock's film, Black Adam. but he's been cast as Hawkman from DC Comics, Justice League, stuff like that. And this dude here, I like him, young guy. I like his, I like his ability and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind seeing him in this film. Maybe if I replaced him, or if I replaced, say, Yaya with him, or vice versa, whatever. I can see either one of them in that young person role. The one guy that was in the team that was kind of like the kid, kind of like the youngin, whatever. And that's pretty much my list at this point. Those are my guys. And that's pretty much it. I think I know, Samuel Jackson, I had to at least put him out there as a possible, but Will Smith has to be a lock. Will Smith has done majority of his career has been action films. So you got to put him in it. You can't not put him in it. Like I said, my possibles, Sam Jackson, Vin Diesel, these are possibles. And Lawrence Fishburne. You could find ways to throw them in there. Yaya is definitely a strong possible for me. And all this Hodge, I like both of them as young guys, but I think those are my guys. So let's hear your list.
Wow, man, you gave me something to think about. I'm going to start with the bad guys. I said, okay. I agree. The main villain should be Denzel Washington, and his muscle is Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Yeah,
Dwayne.
Yeah. We made that decision last week. I think that was a good decision because number one, it's two guys that you're not used to seeing as the bad guy. Denzel only played pretty much the bad guy one time, and that was, Training Day. He could play a good bad. I think he'd be a good villain. Remember, I think we mentioned once before, I think Denzel Washington would be an excellent Bond villain. You know what I mean? I think he would be a great Bond villain, in a film. Not trying to be British, just being an American villain in a Bond film, because people, Denzel Washington should be a black Bond. No. I still think if you're going to put a black Bond, it should be someone like an Idris Elba who is British. I need a black British guy if you're going to be a black Bond. That's the way we're already changing it up by making them black. You know how I am about source material. You know how I am about that. I'm very, very, very anal about that. So if I'm going to agree to a black Bond, he got to at least be British.
I think that's only fair.
Right? I think it's only fair.
I think that's only fair.
You know what I'm saying? Because me personally, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy that's like, oh, we need to see more black guys playing these roles. No, I'm not that guy. You're looking at the wrong dude. And trust me, people will I've caught flack behind it, Ralph. I'm telling you, I've caught a lot of flack behind it. People are like, oh, to the point where people even call me a self-hater. You're self-hate. You hate yourself because you're black. What? No, wow. I don't care to see.
I don't think that's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and that has nothing to do with it. I don't care to see you putting a black person into a character that is not a black character. Make another.
But in retrospective, with that being said, if this was 20-some years ago, you could have made that same argument with Spider-Man. Like, you didn't want to see Spider-Man and Spider-Man. A black Spider-Man, like, no one's going to see it. But then you get Miles Morales. And I think nowadays,
Miles Morales is definitely going to be acceptable because, once again, you know me, I'm a source material guy. They introduced Miles Morales in the comics. And of course, I'm sure there was some backlash behind it, but they introduced him in the comics, and he has become a favorite. He's become a fan favorite in the comics. So I can get with that. They even did it with Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury. Nick Fury is originally a white character in the comics. But in the comics, they also changed him to black. So at least they got something to say. No, we stuck with them source material. But, Johnny Storm has never, aka the Human Torch, has never been black.
No,
I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. I'm sorry. And James Bond, like I said, I'm really against the black Bond. I'm against that. I just there's no reason to do that. You know what I'm saying? And like, we don't need.
I agree.
Crumbs.
I agree.
We don't need nobody's crumbs, man. We just make a black character. Bond is a Bond, right?
He could be 006 or 008.
006. Now, granted, we do know that 007s in James Bond and all that stuff is supposedly like a code name, right? So, it could be other people. 007 could be another person. But I'm already against it. So, if, like you said, to be fair, if you're going to make a black Bond, which I'm not in favor of, but if you're going to make a black Bond, at least make him a black British guy. Do not cast an American actor trying to do a British voice accent. Get a British actor. Get Idris Elba. Get one of those other guys. That's actually British. John Boyega, if you want to get him, do whatever. Somebody who's actually British. That's what I'm saying.
I get with you, but John Boyega, I was like, no.
No, I wouldn't get him. He don't have the swag. He doesn't have the swag to be James Bond.
He was kind of like the most. He's kind of like the most annoying parts of the last Star Wars movies. I mean, except for the first one because you're introduced to the character, but the second and third one is more of the same crap. Ray, stop it. We gotta help. We gotta help him. We gotta help her. Like, yo, that's a Jedi. She don't need your help, son. You ain't got no powers.
Yo, that's funny. You ain't got no power. It's just like no powers. It's like this thing that I thought I shared it in our group, but it was it was people doing voiceovers of the Justice League. There's like these hood dudes doing voiceovers of Justice League, and it's like Superman just trying to play Batman. Well, you a sucker, man. You ain't got no powers. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, F you, man. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, look, he says something. They're like, why you down in Batman? He's just trying to help. He's like, yo, he's a fuck boy. He ain't got no powers.
I can fly like Superman. I can fly. Wonder Woman. I got the lasso of the true Flash. I got so sweet. What you got? American Express.
That's what he said. It was like, so he's like, so you ain't got no powers, dude. He's like, yo, you can't do nothing. He's like, I can sign the hell out of a check.
Yeah. I can change my voice.
Change my voice to sound like this.
A hot car. Chicks like hot cars.
Exactly. Yeah.
Superman, like, I don't need a car. I can fly.
Fly where it's gonna take you days to get there. I'm gonna fly. Exactly. But then Batman does have a bat plane.
But even still, I can fly. I can fly across the ocean. I don't need a vehicle. I can fly upside down. I could actually fly sleeping. Can you do that? No.
So it's like, yeah, you ain't got no powers, man. But yeah, I think that's my thing. But not to jump on the subject. So what's up? Let's get your list.
All right, I agree with that. Yeah, you could spin off the Expendables, the ExpendaBROS with off the Wesley Snipes character, Dr. Death. So you keep him in it, right?
Yeah.
And I said, you bring in Carl Weathers.
Yes.
Michael Jai White.
Okay, I know you Michael Jai White. These are all. They I think they are necessary, locks. They're locks.
Right. I didn't think of the Will Smith, so I had to yank somebody out. So I'm bringing Will Smith. I'm bringing in Ty Mock.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny. I forgot to put him in there. Now, here's the deal. This is what I think. Now that you put Ty Mock in it, right? How about this? How about we slide Michael Jai White over to the bad side, so him and Ty Mock can have a fight?
Nah. If Dwayne, we weren't putting Dwayne Johnson as the the muscle.
We need three baddies. Someone has to fight Snipes. Someone has to fight Carl Weathers, and someone has to fight Michael Jai White or Ty Mock. Right? I don't think we should have them both on the same side because they're both really good martial artists, and they should fight each other. So one of them has to be a bad guy. One of them, and Michael Jai White it comes a little easier to him to play the bad guy. So, and it's a little more believable to put it. You don't want to bring Ty Mock back in.
But if you
want to bring him back,
you bring in this Yaya guy.
You want him to be on the good side. And he would actually be a really.
I want to be on the good side.
I think he'd be really good on the good side, with his mild manners and but he's just a beast with that martial arts. Michael Jai White should slide to the dark side, slide to the bad side. So now you got The Rock, Michael Jai White, and you got Denzel, and now the big baddies, and now you got Carl Weathers with Wesley Snipes and Ty Mock versus those guys. Ty Mock and Michael Jai White would be an epic fight, bro. That would be an epic fight.
It would, but I think because you brought the guy Yaya into the thing, and I could see Michael Jai White taking on Yaya. I see that fight happening.
But the reason why I see it too, but this is the thing. The reason, and I'm glad you brought Ty Mock back up because I forgot. Unfortunately, I forgot to put him in there. The reason why I'm saying this is because almost every film Michael Jai White is put in, he has to dumb down his abilities. Unless it's a film that he's doing that he's a star of and it's like action, but I mean, like you put Michael Jai White in as another character in a film, he just dumb down his abilities when he fights. This dude is a martial arts master. He needs to really let it hang loose. And the only way he'll be able to do that is to have someone on the opposing side that can fight with him. Since he's going to be on the same side, unless you move him to the dark side and he fights Snipes. Snipes can get it in too with the martial arts. But I want to see a straight martial arts fight in this film. So we need to see Michael Jai White and Ty Mock. That's what we need to see. Because then you're going to have a straight martial arts thump it out fight to the death. That would be, to me, in my opinion, better than any of these other characters having to face over them because he'd have to dumb it down. In my mind, I'm like, it's not beating Michael Jai White. You know what I'm saying? So, Ty Mock, that's possible. That's possible.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. If it's three bad guys and you do slot Michael Jai White, he takes on Ty Mock. Yaya, I guess if I go down the list because Yaya could take. Let's see, I want Denzel to take on Carl Weathers, and I guess you could have Yaya taking on Will Smith. I guess it could still kind of work up in there.
It can still work. Yeah, Yaya taking on Will Smith. Yeah, that would be good. That'd be a good one.
All right. I do say I agree with that one. Then I'm also bringing in Michael B. Jordan. I'm bringing him in.
You mentioned him last time. Bringing in Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Right. Then you said Mike Coulter. I like him.
I mean,
Michael B. Jordan.
He's not a famous for like his action films.
Well,
He's just
two
a he's a
Creeds,
good actor.
Black Panther. Well, two Creeds, Black Panther. That's
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess so.
he certainly has a build where even if you don't
Oh yeah,
see him as an action guy, you certainly
trust me,
can see
great.
how he could
Yeah.
become an action guy.
He'd be great.
You know.
He'd be great.
Now this part, because I thought about this part, the character of Rourke that Mickey Rourke played, and that he was like the organizer. I said that one. That's Fred Williamson. I could see that cat in that role.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I said the character of Mr. Church that Bruce Willis played.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna mesh mine. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Okay. I can see him. Chiwetel Ejiofor. I can see
Right.
him in there.
Chiwetel Ejiofor for that role.
He's appeared in quite a few action films himself. Quite a few.
Yes.
I like him.
Now the character that Schwarzenegger played, Mauser, that's Omari Hardwick from Power. Want to put him up in there.
Okay, you said Mauser. Okay, yeah.
He could be the bad guy, but for the right amount of money, he could be the good guy. That's him. Now then came. I looked at the rest of the team. You had the guy Gage that Antonio Banderas played, and I'm gonna mess you up with this one too because you wouldn't expect this one. You know who I would put into that role? And we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. I'm putting Lorenz Tate in there. I want Old Dog in there. I really do. Lorenz Tate.
I don't know if I want him in there, but I get you. That's your list.
I mean, I would like to because.
I mean, not because he's not good acting.
Everybody, even when I posted. But I need him to come back with the Old Dog. If I get like a mixture of Old Dog and Dead Presidents somewhere in between, oh yeah, because people have been sleeping on him for years. They look at him like he's all cute, he's a politician, but he's Old Dog. People forget that part.
I like
good
him.
Actor. Then you got the part of Bonaparte that what's the name played? Graham played. Kelsey Graham. I'm putting in that role, and I didn't think about Tyrese or the gentleman that you mentioned from the content. I put Anthony Mackie in there.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Mackie could be good in there.
Right. And then you had the part that Harrison Ford played. He was drummer. He was the CIA agent.
Okay.
Now for that one, that's where you bring Richard Roundtree in there.
Okay.
I like him in that role where he's an older guy that's seen it all, done it all, and now he's like the pencil pusher, but he's still like itching to get back out in the field one more time, just one more time,
Well, Richard Roundtree, in my opinion, to me, Richard Roundtree is the equivalent. He's that OG, so he's like the equivalent of who else in the Expendables? Chuck Norris, maybe the OG that may pop out and shoot a couple of guns. You know what I'm saying? At the
exactly.
last,
he'll just show
climax
up.
Scene. Yeah, at the final
exactly.
scene.
Like he'll just show up and say, "Boy, did." Like everything going bad, and he shows us. He said, "Boy, did." He said, "What? You need the OGs to come in and show you how we really do it." And he just started popping off some rounds. And next thing you know, he just start popping some rounds. Next thing you know, half of the invading squad is dead. I told you this is how we used to do it in the old days. It's how we used to do it in the old days, youngins.
When he walks away, he's got to say, "Can you dig it?"
No. You know what? When he walks, no. If he's in the airplane, a helicopter, he gets back in, and as the plane talk, that's when you throw in the doom. That's when you throw the Shaft music.
Can you dig it?
That's what you do. Like you give him some. But I certainly did like that the guy Yaya. I did not think about him. I forgot about him. But that's a good choice. The other gentleman that was in Straight Outta Compton, I like it. I like that choice too.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. Now the other cast member from Straight Outta Compton, the one that played Dre, even though he's in Kong, I'm like no. He no. No,
Yeah, somebody
Corey
mentioned him
Harkins,
too.
no.
Yeah, they were talking about him because he's in that 24 show. You know, he was doing some action
But
in that.
no, yeah,
No.
you're right. And you kind of killed the 24 franchise because it's really Kiefer Sutherland and it's not you.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't even see it, but it's not Kiefer Sutherland, so I didn't want to see it.
24. Yeah. So what did you think? So what about Don Cheadle? You didn't think about Don Cheadle? You know, he's done some. He's got a couple.
Now,
I think he'd be good as, like I said, not everybody has to be shoot 'em up guys. He would be good as like an intel guy, you know, or something like that. You know, that's what I think. Yeah, this is mine.
You know what? But for that, if he was like, if you did to do with him like you did with like Chuck Norris, where he just like walk in there for a few minutes, like he says, "No, I got an update for you," or like, you know, I'm the contact to get you to the next part. Then yeah, I go with Don Cheadle for something like that one because he got some skills, you know. But if we're gonna have Don Cheadle in this, Don, you can't be clean shaven. I need the goatee. I need the goatee that you have from Out of Sight. I don't need the clean shaven from Avengers. I need the goatee because you just look mean as hell with the goatee. Some of you guys out there, some of you actors out there, when you got facial hair, like even though Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, he looked tough. Exactly. He just looks tough with that goatee. And like I said, with Ryan Reynolds, when you see Ryan Reynolds and anything else besides Deadpool, he looks kind of wimpish. But when he was in when he was in the movie where he had the beard going on, I was like, yo,
which one? Blade?
He looks tough as hell.
Was it Blade? He had the beard in that, or
no, not even Blade. He had the beard, but not that one. What's the one that Alicia did? The film Alicia Keys did. I know. Give me a second. I'll tell you. Smoking Aces. When he had the beard going on in Smoking Aces, he just looked tough. He looked like he looked like the kind of guy that I don't want to mess with for real. But when he's clean, like we see other stuff, when he's clean shaven, and he's not Deadpool in the other movie where he's clean shaven, it just don't hit. It don't. That kind of, I guess you want to say, fear doesn't hit me. He looks like the guy's gonna sit there and crack like that. When he's clean shaven, that's Van Wilder. That's the guy from Wait, right? But when he's got the beard, now he looking tough. Like, oh damn, and that's how I see Don Cheadle. When he's clean shaven, it ain't the same as when he's got that when he's got that goatee going on. No matter how thick it is, when he's got the goatee going on, it's a whole nother element to him.
No, I get you. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Don Cheadle, he definitely needs the goatee. I think everybody, would agree with that. That's definitely agreeable because to me, Don Cheadle, unfortunately, when he's clean shaven, I hate when they do that because Don Cheadle looks like a guy that's older, that's trying to look younger.
Yeah.
Just like I don't like when Wesley Snipes is clean shaven. I do not like Wesley Snipes.
He do not look the same.
He looks sick. He looks like,
and even when Wesley Snipes has his head shaved, I need Wesley Snipes with some hair, with his mustache going on, with like even with his nose up in the air, like looking like I'm ready, like when he was in Blade.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him with the head shave. I can deal with it if he doesn't have his face shaved too. Because now you start looking weird to me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said before. Like, even though what you call it looks great with his face shaved, but I just think Michael Coulter just looks so sinister with his beard.
Yeah.
Like the beard on him makes him look sinister. He could definitely be a bad guy in this movie too, part of the bad team. I think I did not like I said, I don't like Wesley Snipes clean shaven. He looks like an old man trying to look young. and I don't like that. Don Cheadle, same thing. When
he looked like the guy. You know what he looks like, and I hate to put him and Cheeto when they're clean shaven. They look like the guys. You know, like when you were a kid and you would get ready to go to school. You're going out walking down your block, and the guys be waiting in front of the store to open. That's just out there talking crap. That's them. That's them.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother Evan Hollywood said he hated his look in Sugar Hill. Yeah, he had that clean shave, I think, in Sugar Hill. He was clean shaven or whatever. Snipes, I never liked that look for him. Well, no matter how old or young he was when he did it, he has to have some sort of facial hair to make him look, more, to me, it just looks better.
I need,
something. The beard.
I don't even need the I don't need the Wesley. Right. I don't need the Wesley Snipes from New Jack City. I need the Wesley Snipes from White Man Can't Jump. I need that guy. That's the Wesley Snipes I need. I need that guy.
Yeah. No clean shaven stuff. Though it doesn't look good to me. Like I said, especially these older cats, they start shaving their clean and they try to think I don't know, I think they actually think it makes them look younger. It doesn't. It makes you look like an old man trying to look young. So that's not a good look. But like I said, I gotta go with now. I gotta add Timok to the list because I should have had him in there in the first place, and I forgot to get him in there. But Timok, like I said, bro, Timok has to be on the good side, and we have to slide Michael Jai White over to the bad side.
You know what? Wait a minute. On second thought, no. Let's slide Timok over to the bad side. Let's slide him over there. Like he could be the guy that's because he has some other stuff in him. He could be the guy. He has a little Spanish in him. He could be that guy that's like talking Spanish and he's like, I don't understand what you're saying. And he's like, pow. Oh, you understand this, right? And they have a fight. Like, just let's slide Timok to the bad side for a change. I mean, it wouldn't be a change. You don't tell me to do.
Right. I get you on that. I think since we're bringing him back, he hasn't been in much lately. You bring him back. You don't want to make him a bad guy. You want to make him on the good side, but you could make him like, I'd really play off his character and make him like a timid dude, like kind of like a timid type of personality, kind of like how he was in The Last Dragon, but he's just a beast, you know what I'm saying, with the martial arts and stuff. And he's like that martial arts specialist. Michael Jai White is so good at being bad. He's a good bad guy too. He likes to play. Most people like to play bad guys because you get a chance to
bad guys get all the fun. If you're gonna do Michael Jai White, I'm gonna tell you, even though he wasn't bad, but I need the Michael Jai White from like the first 15 minutes of Spawn. When he was sitting there talking, and he was like, he had that look in his like, yo, if you say he looked at Michael Sheen like, if you say the wrong thing, I'm just gonna like rip your heart out. I need that guy. Not from Blood and Bones. I need that guy from Spawn. The beginning of Spawn.
Michael Jai White has he's co-starred on the CW Arrow because he was cast as I forgot the name, the dude's name with the claws or whatever, but and he's a bad guy in that. Like he's good. Look, I mean he's got that look. Look at the eyes. Look at the look in the eyes. He's got the bad guy look. You know what I'm saying? He could be a bad guy. He could be that martial arts guy.
And you know what? Like, but look at him in that. But look at him in that. Wait a minute. Go back. Look at that picture. See how he is with the goatee going on.
Yeah.
He just look like and look at the determination face. He just looking like you really. He's looking at you like you really want to do something to me. You really want to say the wrong thing to me. Like I'm just waiting for you to say the wrong thing. But like a lot of times I see Michael Jai White, he's clean shaven, and even though I know it's him, like when we at the Urban Action and he walk around, he's clean shaven. It's just like you don't look intimidated, even though you are. You don't.
He's trying not to look intimidated.
But when he's got the beard, when he's got the goatee, it's like, damn. It's like, yo, I'm sorry. It's like, I'm sorry, Mr. White. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just taking my money.
Yeah, did I bump into you? My bad.
My
Yeah.
bad.
I'm
sorry for even thinking about it.
Said to me, no hair makes me look older. But it's exactly what I was saying, bro. The clean shaven, no hair thing on the face makes older people look like they're trying to look younger.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't go well. So now we got this.
For some people, it just like not for nothing. If I was to see Chuck Norris now, right, after all them years with the beard, I was like, no, that's not Chuck Norris. I need Chuck Norris with, and it doesn't have to be a real fuzzy beard, but
gotta be something.
But it has to be. I need the beard from Lone Wolf McQuade. I need that guy, not Texas Ranger, Lone Wolf McQuade, or even Missing in Action. I need that guy.
You need Missing in Action. That's the one that I'm going. I
need Missing.
So now let's debate this real quick before we wrap everything up. Like I said, I had a couple people in there that we both said no, or a couple of them I put as possibles, maybes, and I want to try to make. Now we'll start with Mr. Tyrese Gibson here. Now, Tyrese Gibson has been in his fair share of action films, right?
Yes, he has. I grant that he has.
In his fair share of action.
I could actually, and it's funny with that picture. In that picture, I could see him as the guy they go into to get the arms. That's trying to sweet talk the deal to give him the most, the less for the most amount of money. I could see that guy because that. So if you did that, I'm okay with bringing Tyrese in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's see. We had him in there. Okay, you can see that. What was your? I don't remember what your problem was with Vin Diesel. What was your problem with Vin Diesel again? Didn't you have an issue with him?
My only problem with Vin, my only problem, and it goes with Tyrese too, is that I was going with the fact that let's say they actually did this and it became a franchise. I don't want someone that's already attached to another franchise that's still actively running to be involved in it. So long, and I think,
but you know that franchise is about to end finally.
We don't actually we don't know that for actually. All they said was that Fast and Furious 10 is going to be the last Fast and Furious theater in the theaters. There's nothing saying that, especially now with streaming, there's nothing saying that they won't continue the thing going and have it going straight to streaming services. I mean, who knows? It may spin off to now it's just Hobbs, and there's no longer Vin Diesel. I mean, unless you see Vin Diesel really die in the movie, then you can say, well, it's the end of him in the Fast and Furious franchise. And that's all they said. They didn't say the Fast and Furious franchise was ended. They just said the parts with Dominic is ending with number 10.
Okay.
So,
well, then he's out of it. If that's the case.
So long as, and that would also go for Tyrese. And that's if they decide to keep if Fast and Furious decide to keep Tyrese.
So if it came out and the Fast and Furious are still going, okay. But I mean, for the fact of the matter is, other than the Fast and Furious, you had the Triple X movies, the Riddick joints.
He qualifies on those levels.
Qualifies.
But like I said, my simple thing was that if you're gonna have a franchise continuing,
let's not forget knockaround guys. So like, I think Vin Diesel.
I mean, he's got some joints. I'm not gonna lie, Vin Diesel certainly does have some joints. My thing is just the franchise thing, and then the other thing with him is, and I don't know this fact. Frankly, if you wonder that when you have Vin Diesel as a bad guy and he's fighting Dwayne Johnson as a bad guy, that would be great. But someone was saying no, we can't have that.
I would definitely match him up against Dwayne Johnson. Let them fight, because that'd be cool. Because they were on the same side, so to speak. At one point they were on the same side with the Fast movies.
Right. But I've heard that the two of them have issues in real life. That's why Vin Diesel was not in that Hobbs movie at all, because there's some sort of issue going on. And the same issue that Tyrese had with Dwayne Johnson. Like, you just come in and now the franchise revolves around you when you were the addition. You're not the lead. So once again, it boils down to money. It boils, and who knows? They probably paying Dwayne more than they paying Tyrese, or maybe as much as they paying Diesel, and they're not happy about that. I'm like, yo, how this guy just gonna walk in here after 2 movies, and next thing you know, he making $30 billion?
Now, I picked this picture for a reason, not because of Nick Fury either. Just the pose of him sitting down in a chair or whatever in some room. For that reason alone, number one, I just feel like you can't make this film without somewhere putting this guy in there. He doesn't have to be an action part, but he has to at least say some funny shit. He's gotta be
the bartender.
I mean, he gotta say like the line he said in Spider-Man. He's Nick Fury. And when Spider-Man's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can handle this. He said, bitch, please, you've been to space. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, son. I need a Samuel Jackson line in this film. I don't care if he's sitting in a chair just like this, and they walk into the room and they speak to him, and he's some retired colonel or something, and he's like talking shit. And that's all I need. That's it.
He can be the bartender, you know, because it's like the running.
The bartender. You're giving him the garbage role.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It's like the movie Running Scared, right? And with Wesley Snipes, with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal, what they want to do? They decided they want to stop being cops and run a bar. So he could have been the guy that was doing the job before them, right? And now he's retirement, and now the bar that the whole team come to is his bar.
Okay, so maybe not the bartender, maybe the bar owner.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, generally, a lot of times, you know, when you in movies, the bartender is generally the owner, he could be the guy in there hooking them up with drinks, and he could say, you know, they could tell, he could say, you know, back in my day, you know. This is what we used to do. And they say, well, how you gonna say? Because I used to do your job. And the Expendables, they all have that tattoo that symbolizes they were all part of the group. So they probably could have some sort of tattoo or something that symbolizes that they're all brothers. So like it said that all the new guys didn't say, oh man, you just an old man. He was like, oh yeah. But you all come from me. Then they say, oh, respect. Right. So you put him in there in that role. But anything more than like a glorified cameo. No. I'm not with that. Anything more than a glorified cameo, no. Because I think
I don't think he should be, because he's not, in my opinion, he's not like he has action films, but he's not an action guy.
Oh man, why? Just because he was swinging a purple lightsaber? No.
Well, I mean,
you got no powers no more. You got no powers, son.
Long Kiss Goodnight's an action film. He wasn't the action guy in it, but he was in
exactly.
It. He's always a sidekick. He's always in action films.
That's what I'm saying. He's always so keep him.
Die Hard. He was in Die Hard.
But he was a sidekick. So keep him as a sidekick. Keep him in a sidekick capacity.
Now, we left out somebody. I was wondering if you were going to put him in there, and I didn't. Do we add Jamie Foxx to this list?
You know, I until you said Will Smith, I had forgot I had Jamie Foxx on this list, and I had to yank him off because of Will Smith.
Because of Will Smith. Yeah, Will Smith has to be in it. Will Smith is an action guy. Jamie has, and you had him originally on your list. Jamie definitely is also got his fair share of action films.
Yes.
So I can see Jamie in this film. You know, maybe him in there if they don't get Will Smith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I got a condition. If you're gonna have Jamie Foxx in this movie, right? I'm sorry, but he got to be the character he was in Horrible Bosses. He got to be Motherfucker Jones. That is like the coolest name. What's your name? Motherfucker Jones.
Yeah.
Like what? Motherfucker Jones.
Yeah. I think he has to be I need Jamie Foxx that was in you know what I'm talking about.
What, Collateral?
Miami
Miami Vice.
I need Miami Vice Jamie Foxx, man.
I need Django Jamie.
Miami Vice Jamie was I liked him in that, man. But I mean he's got his fair share of action. But Will, if it came down to him or Will, like you just did, Will has to go first because
Will is the trump card. You got to have Will Smith over Jamie Foxx. But once again, if we're going to put like glorified and see that's the problem. If you're going to have a glorified cameo, then that's too small for someone like Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx got to have a role.
No, he has to have a role. That's too small for him. That's too small for the cameos are going to be, the older guy. He's a cameo.
Yeah, he's a cameo.
Right? And he's a cameo.
He's a cameo.
Richard Roundtree.
Now, if you want to go with that, like, could you have Lawrence Fishburne somewhere in there as a cameo role?
Yeah. But otherwise, when I look at this
once
picture,
again, the franchise
he's a little bit younger in this picture. But when I look at pictures like this, I think of the old guy that's still in the field that refused to come out the field. You know what I mean? Dude, man.
Now, if anything,
gets killed in action, because you always need that one guy that's the martyr that gets killed, and everybody's like, we gotta do it for him. You know what I'm saying?
Now that's true. He could be the guy, or he could be the guy that he's playing the role that Gibson played. He was the former member that turned into, and he could be that guy. So I mean, there's room for him, or you could have the same thing for Jamie Foxx. The same thing. He could be the guy that turned, uses connections to build up his empire. There's a bunch of different things you can do. So I mean, I necessarily wouldn't just say no, but however, Lawrence Fishburne falls in the same category as Vin Diesel. So long as the John Wick franchise still keeps going, you shouldn't be in this one.
And you got the Matrix as well.
He's not in the Matrix. He wasn't asked to be in the Matrix. He's not.
That's whack.
Yeah, which is whack. They're bringing back Keanu Reeves, obviously, but they're also bringing back Trinity. But you're not bringing back Morpheus. Morpheus didn't die. Trinity and Neo died, but Morpheus lived, and he's not coming back. Something wrong with that.
There's something wrong with it. I would have thought. I actually thought. I don't want to get off the subject because we're going to end the show soon. I would have thought that if they was doing the Matrix, they should have just bringing it back. They should have just brought all the characters. They should have brought in some of those characters from the games. From the game, like Jada Pinkett's character was a main one she was in the film too. But I'm just saying, but her character was really like when you played that Matrix game, she was real significant. Her character in that game, you know what I mean?
I never played the game, but I heard it was like really, really good. I heard the game was really good.
It was really good, and one of her character was one of the main game characters. Her character in the Asian dude. That Asian dude who wore the sunglasses, forget his name, but he was the dude. He would guard the gatekeeper or whatever, or the key maker, he guarded the Oracle.
Yeah,
the guy who guarded the Oracle. Yeah. So but yeah, so those are the cameras. But I think the locks, we already know what the locks are, and then some of the guys that you said too. I think Timeout definitely should be in it. I think we already know about the first three. We know about Snipes. We know about Carl. They're like the leads. Idris would probably have to be a lead too because he's a big name. Will's got to be in there. Yeah, bro. This is something. What do you say exactly? He could be a hitman. I don't know what he's talking about. Jimmy A said he could be a hitman. Maybe Neo. I mean, maybe he's talking about Lawrence.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I could see Lawrence Fishburne as that, like you said, either the guy that used to be down with the team and he turned into the bad side, or you could have Jamie do that if you wanted to. A lot of them can do that. But I see him as that dude that somebody has to play to do either him or Fred Williamson, or somebody is gonna have to be the dude that's in the field that gets killed. And like we got to do it for him. You know what I'm saying? Somebody has to play that dude too. I kind of see Lawrence Fishburne as that guy out there, like, yeah. And then, they're like, man, he's like, I'm coming with y'all. Oh man, we don't need you. We got this. No, I'm gonna come with you. And then he get out there, and then they get into the battle, and the Rock's character kills him or something. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh man. And he's like, and then now they got something that they got motivation. They got that motivation to say, we gotta do it for him. So I think this would be a good film, man. This would be a good film. Don't let me run into Snipes. It's like, Wesley Snipes, you can pitch it to Sly. And I believe Sly Stallone would co-sign this, because you got Snipes' character, who was already in the film, Carl Weathers, who is, always been a good friend of his. I think he'd co-sign this. I think Sly would co-sign it. He'd let it happen. He may even help produce it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we got to do it, man. The ExpendaBROS. I think this will be a good. Like you said, these guys are my sleepers. Aldous Hodge, you're gonna get to see him. I think he's gonna do well in the new role as Hawkman. But then you got Yahya. He's definitely a sleeper. Loved him as Mantis in the Aquaman film. Black Manta, I should say, not Mantis, Manta. Black Manta. I liked him in pretty much a lot of the roles I've seen him in. And he's good at playing he could be on the bad side, you know what I'm saying? Because he can play a bad guy pretty good. There's Black Manta, he's a bad guy. And his scenes in Aquaman was hot. His scenes was dope.
Yeah.
They were good scenes. He didn't even have that many scenes in it, but they were good. And even like, the first time I saw him was that show, The Get Down, on Netflix. And he was kind of like the bad guy in that. You know what I'm saying? And of course, there was that was just like, that wasn't no action, nothing, but he was still like the antagonist of the movie, of the show, the series. He's good at that. So I can see him in there. But that's my take on the ExpendaBROS. One note I want to add before we end the show. When we talked about the Expendables, someone hit me up and they were like, Wes, how can you not put Pam Grier in that list?
Well, we never actually went up, completed a full list of who would be.
Yeah.
But I mean, in hindsight, that is a very good point.
She could be, like we talk about, one of those cameo characters. She doesn't have to be all in it going crazy, but she could definitely be one of those cameo characters that you would love to see in that film. Maybe she could be, I hate to say this just because they would be pretty much the only two black girls in it. Maybe she could be related to Halle Berry's character. You know what I'm saying?
I don't, and I mean related. I don't want to say, well, she's Halle Berry's mother. I don't know. I feel
she could be a mentor. She could be
a mentor.
Yes. Trainer. Could be the person that trained her.
Yes, but not her mother.
I wouldn't say,
because I think that kind of cheapens
the role.
Pam Grier is.
Her contribution to films, action films, and stuff like that she's had in her day during the blaxploitation era and stuff like that. It cheapens her contribution to the film genre. But no, you don't make her nobody's mother.
I don't want to be anybody's mom. Now she could be the mom that you think she is, and she's super hot. I mean, yeah. I mean, because I'm sorry, yo, I was like ready, like, yo, Jackie Brown could have got it. When she was standing up there in that red dress, I was like, damn, that's Pam Grier.
Pam
You know,
Grier. Pam Grier
Pam Grier can get it. She can get it. That's classic. Pam Grier is classic.
I think he was right. You can't keep her off that list. So we never made the full list, and I don't want to keep dragging it out. But I guess we need to finalize.
We're gonna get to that Monday. Let's get to it on Monday.
We'll finalize the list for the Expendables.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna finalize that list. We know the locks. We know that it's Halle Berry, Charlize Theron,
Jolie,
Angelina Jolie. They are the locks for the film.
The other one,
Mila
Jovovich.
Those
are locks.
They're locks no matter what for this show. But another person someone threw in there who might be nice to be thrown in. But I just don't think she doesn't have a lot of movies under her belt. But she is an action person, would be Denai Guerrero. Michonne. That's all I think about is Michonne. And of course, in the Dora Milaje, she was in Black Panther. She was getting it in.
But now, see, this is the problem with that one, right? If you want to say her, you're really basing that on The Walking Dead, not her film work, because
right. Well, the only film work that I can really use is Black Panther.
The Black Panther.
Well, she was in Black Panther, and she was in, like
she was in Avengers, right?
Yeah.
So, but yank those out. What else you got? I mean, the only movie I know that she was in was All Eyes on Me, and it certainly wasn't an action movie.
No, it wasn't an action.
So if you're gonna have her in there, you're really basing that on what you call The Walking Dead, and that's
the same thing. But that would be the equivalent of putting in Lucy Lawless.
Exactly. Only based on Xena. And no, the people that you want in the Expendables or the Expendables or ExpendaBROS, it's a film. They have to it come from an action background. So if the bulk of your thing, it's like let's say for example, you want to do the Expendables and you said Meryl Streep. No. Why? Because she's really speaking done one action movie, The River Wild.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, she getting that. Now, if you said Lucy Liu, even though now you got some like you look at her resume. Okay, she was in Charlie's Angels. She does it. Now you got some
Charlie's Angels.
No.
Kill Bill.
Right. So for Dana. So for her, no. For her and Lucy Lawless, those two at least in my book would be no, because it's really based on a television. And like television, let's say for something you sat there, you was to sit there and say, well, Ralph, what about Linda Carter? That sounds like really good, but no, because no feature films in an action role. All that's Wonder Woman. If you want to say like her 10-second cameo in Wonder Woman 1984, but she didn't do nothing. All she did was stop a piece of wood. That's all she did.
Yeah.
She didn't kick anybody's ass. So no, I would put Linda Carter into that. And and that's not a disrespect on what she has done for the action genre, because she certainly is. If anybody would be an icon, it would be Linda Carter.
Well,
but
just on pure iconness, of course, you would. Yeah,
it doesn't work. And the same thing. I can sit there and say this: if anybody ever said, "What about Katie Sackhoff?" No, because then I'm basing that strictly on Battlestar Galactica, which was a TV show, not a feature film. Yeah, she's in Riddick. She is in Riddick, but that's one movie. No, it's not enough. It's not enough to really see. And that's my complaint about Gina Davis. Her role, is iconic.
Thing. But it's iconic, but it was the only action film she was in. There's a question from Jimmy Ace. He said, "Remember that Will Smith turned down the role of the Matrix Do you think it still would have blown up if he was Neo?
Yes, I do
know.
think it still would have, but I'm gonna say yes, but it wouldn't. It would not be iconic. It wouldn't be iconic. Neo is iconic. You know, it wouldn't have been.
It would have still been because Will Smith is a big name. It would have still blown up, but I don't think it would have became this iconic franchise that we know of now.
Nah. And even then, I don't think it would even have been a franchise. I think it would have just been a one Matrix, and that was it. I don't think they would have did a second or a third one. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I no disrespect, I don't think that type of action movie is Will Smith's strong point. Michael Lowry, because I mean, look at what Gemini Man did. I mean, I like Gemini Man, but to me, it didn't seem like that, like this sci-fi-ish type of thing. It was a strong point. I mean, even if you want to sit there and say, I, Robot, yeah, but it has a sci-fi element to it. But it's still a cop movie.
Yeah,
You know?
it had the sci-fi element. Now here's the deal. You just mentioned Gemini Man. I didn't hate Gemini Man, but I didn't like what they I think they did a terrible job with the CGI.
Yeah.
I thought that was a terrible job. I thought the story wasn't that bad, but they did a terrible job with the CG, and I couldn't get past it, to be honest with you. I couldn't get past it. It just bothered me. Really did. And I was just like,
some parts of that CGI, like I think the part where they were in the tunnel, I like now the part where he was fighting them on the motorcycle. I like that. That part was cool. I was like, oh damn, that was cool. But the tunnel part I didn't like, and
some
then
of
the
that
whole
stuff.
thing
I was just like cringing. I was like, what are they doing? I'm like, did they get the same team that removed what's his face mustache in Justice League? They must have got the same CGI team that removed Henry Cavill's mustache when they brought him back for reshoots of Justice League, which now I remember I call it now, not the theatrical cut, I call it the Whedon cut. And then I saw someone else online who refers to it as Justice League. That's what they call it. For Joss Whedon, Justice League. But I like to call it the Whedon cut. Yeah, that was terrible CG, man. They could have did so much better with that. They could have did so much more.
Yeah, it could. I did like the story behind it. I thought the story was really good, but the presentation is.
Yeah,
and who knows? It could have been that at the time Will Smith was also doing the last Bad Boys movie, and maybe it was just wearing on him. I mean, I honestly don't know.
I don't think it's really his fault though. It's I think it was just that the CG was not good. Some of the stuff it looked like damn near like a video game.
Maybe Marvel had took all the CG guys in Hollywood to do the Avengers, and so now you was down to the D-list guys.
You gotta hire.
You down to the guys that just got out of school.
You gotta get Industrial Light and Magic. Even the C team of Industrial Light and Magic.
Weta could have did a good job with it.
Weta could have did it as well. They're the standards. ILM
ILM is always going to stand for everything. ILM is going to stand for CGI, special effects, everything. You are not going to get. ILM is like the cream of the crop.
I read somewhere that the new Indiana Jones is going to take place in the 60s or something like that. So if they're going to do that, then they're definitely bringing in the A team for ILM, and they're going to de-age Harrison Ford. They have to.
Yeah. Because he should be about like maybe his 60s. But I think Harrison Ford in real life is pushing close to 80. So yeah, they're gonna have to de-age him a lot to get him looking anything like how he did.
Indiana Jones takes place in the 60s. The original Indiana Jones took place when?
It's in the 40s. In the 40s.
So this will take 20 years later from when he was what he was in Indiana Jones or in Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, I guess Indy was around what in Raiders of the Lost Ark in his 30s?
Yeah, at least his 30s, because it's like 1942.
So they're gonna have to basically.
So if you're gonna take, like I said, if you're gonna take in the 60s,
Yeah, 60. They have to bring him down to like 55 years. They have to de-age him down to like 55, 60 years old, 55 years old, something like that.
Right, and that's
like
going
said,
because. But the age of him isn't also part of the problem. You're dealing with an older guy, and I'm quite sure you're going to have Indy fighting somebody or jumping or whipping somebody. I mean, that's going to be a lot of stuff for Harrison Ford to do. And at this stage, and I think Harrison Ford was one of the best to do it. But I just think physically, he's still in great shape. But you're in great shape just to be walking around stuff, to be going back and fighting Nazis and stuff. No, that I'm sorry, that time has passed. If you were still playing Han Solo and you just had to shoot people, yeah, you could do that shit all day. They could make you look good. But,
shoot.
I know
that's easy. But you doing Indiana Jones stuff? No, I don't know. I didn't think that was a good idea at all. Anyway, but I just wanted to bring that up. So next week, this is what we'll do. Just to wrap it all up. We will finalize the Expendables, all right? Cast, who we're gonna put in, who's playing who, what's major role, and then we got to do the same thing we did with this. Who are the bad guys? Who are gonna be the villains? I thought that I told you we talked about it before. I thought that Sigourney Weaver would be a good villain because I've seen her play a villain. And she was very good as a villain. But I think she'd be a good villain.
I think if you had Sigourney Weaver playing the villain, honestly, I'm throwing Cynthia Rothrock up in there as her muscle.
Mm-hmm. As the muscle.
Yeah. And then just if Kate's like, well, she's because you say Cynthia Rothrock older, I think and I'm debating this thing, but I'm kind of like I don't know who else I could really get. If you're going to get someone that's anywhere near Cynthia Rothrock, it's got to be Ronda Rousey. She's the only person I can legitimately think of that
to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay, but then she would have to face off against Gina. Gina would have to be on the other side.
If you put Gina Davis, yes, Gina Davis has to be on the good side. Lucy Liu would have to be on Gina Carano. Yeah. Lucy Liu would have to be on the good side to take on Cynthia Rothrock.
Yeah.
And then now in this case, if you have like the ultimate, like the CIA thing, that could be Gina Davis.
That could be.
She could play that role where she is the she's like the Harrison Ford character.
Yeah.
She's a facilitator. She's the person that gets you with me off the books, under the door.
Yeah.
That could be her role. But out there actually in the field, and then hell, she I picture this like some things going down, and the team is pinning. Next thing you see explosive bow and arrow coming across. She's standing up with a bow and arrow because she does that in real life. She's really good. She almost made the Olympics for archery, where she's there with the bow and arrow with the explosive. Like she pulls the Rambo. Like you see her pulling out and lining it up. I could go with that. I can go with that because it's like. Even though you didn't do it, but we know that in real life, not movie life, real life, you can really do that.
This is cool. My man said the chick in the Terminator that played Connor's mom should be in it. Oh, of course, that's Linda Hamilton. Of course, she's got she's got to be in it too. She's got to be, even if she has.
I think
she could be the Chuck Norris character, the one that comes out of. But one thing when he just mentioned that chick from the, I think I might put her in it too. The one that was in that last Terminator movie.
Yeah, I like
that
her.
chick. Was
that
dope.
chick was bad.
I would put her in this film for real. She was bad. She's
the new recruit.
Yeah,
she's the new recruit.
She's that new recruit. She's like Hemsworth's character was. I gotta find her name now because I can't let me look it up real quick. She was Mackenzie Davis. That's her. Mackenzie Davis. She played the character Grace. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
Good character. She to me made the film. Her character was really kind of made the film for me. I didn't like the film, And as a matter of fact, I'll never forget it because I actually got sick. That's funny. That film actually made me sick. I got sick. I had an asthma attack watching that film. It was so messed up. I'm at the movies, and then I'm like feeling bad. I'm feeling sick, having like an asthma attack. I'm like, all right, I gotta go. I think I ended up going to the hospital and everything that night. I'm like, damn, Terminator made me sick. That's how bad it was. But yeah, I'd put her in it. So we'll do that next week. we'll finalize the Expendables. Finalize that and get some detail in here because it's going to be just like we did this one. There's going to be a couple of them that pop in our heads and we're going to be like, maybe we should put them in there. Then there's going to be a couple that's like, like I said, Gina, she has an iconic role. Like you said, she can get in the film as like that cameo character. Or maybe, like you said, one action kind of semi-action sequence with the bow and arrow, since she's good with that in real life. Maybe something like that, like one thing.
Wait. Here's right. I know we can get off. I gotta ask him. What do you think about putting Lena Headey in this? Leonidas's wife.
I know. She also played Sarah Connor on the TV show, the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
But she was also the main baddie in that really good, like not seen enough Dread remake. But Lena Headey has been putting in some work and more than just Game of Thorns.
I can see her. I could see her in there. I saw some people. We'll save it for next week. But yeah, I can see that.
Next week.
I wouldn't hold that up. So anyway, shout out to everybody that came through. Of course, held it down in the chat room. Jimmy Ace. Shout out to my brother Evan Hollywood. Joseph Tanner, of course. Always. Anyone else who dropped in, popped in, stopped in. Whatever. Thank you very much, and we will definitely pick this up next week. We will be not counting down. We will be putting out our cast for the Expendables, and we'll finalize that. And there you have it, man. We'll get back at y'all next week. Same bat
be
time.
good, everybody. Wear your mask. Don't be that person.
Don't be that person.
Don't be that person.
Don't be that person. Peace out.